Spotify, and Just Call Music on YouTube. Our music is also available on iTunes and Deezer.
Lamig, init, ulan, hangin, kumakalingang kalikasan. Ating alagaan at ingatan. Kumusta na ang ating kalikasan? Pag-usapan natin ang kalagayan ng mundo at kung paano tayo makatutulong sa pagkalinga sa ating tahanan. Kasama sina Father J.M. Manzano ng Kapisanan ni Jesus at si Dr. Abercio V. Roton. Ito ang Tatak Kalikasan sa Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
Coming up next, Level Up Exclusives on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
Katipunan.
Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, radyo, Katipunan. Sa Blue Eagle kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay at tenista sa loob sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng kwela. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, Katipunero sugod, todo sa kayod, dunong at tulog. Lipat na Blue Eagle, kaning giting nagigil. Blue and white, one big fight. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan.
Mga Katipuneros, it's time to level up! Your talk variety program showcasing the best in media and other fields. As we feature the most loved personalities and the best practices of what we truly refer to as Magis. Together with multi-awarded multimedia guru Mr. Noel Ferrer, let's all level up every Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
Level up.
Level up, dream big, work hard, love lives. Yeah, we level up with excellence, integrity, goodwill. Yeah, we live life with all caps. Lead, pray, love, and give back. Right here with Noel Ferrer. Yeah, we level up.
Every day we go through challenges, looking for the best way to balance it. And when we hit the ground, we level up without saying.
Very excited to support him in his very first passion project, his book, Culturally Intelligent Storytelling for Southeast Asian Creators. Nandito po kasama natin ngayong hapon si Ned Legaspi. Ned, magandang
Hi,
hapon.
magandang hapon, Noel. Thank you. A long time. I can't remember kailan yung huli tayo.
Support each other, always
Sa
bring the
ABS
best
pa, pero
out of
boss, siya ng ABS Global. Yun. Tapos, pero our roots really came from, I was trying to like recall. when I
You were my
started
head
here
writer, I think,
in
sa Alas 5:30.
Alas 5:30.
For those who remember that show. Early morning show.
Right after leaving Ateneo, doon po na sa teacher here. He was the head of News and Public Affairs. Tapos yun, ginawa yung alas 5:30. My God, you'd wake up early in the morning, 3 o'clock.
Oo nga.
Earlier to like do that morning show. But you were my head writer too in Balitang K. Di ba?
It was Chris. I was the continuity writer. Yeah.
Tapos sabi ko, kasama ko si Ned finally because believe na believe ko sa taong to kasi kung meron kayong nakikitang sasabihin ko, magaling siyang impersonator. Actually, yun, noon, at after niya mag-perform, nilapitan ko talaga, Ned, sige na, gawin na nating big yung pagiging Ate Guy. Nasa siya yung sa Live Aids na Ate Guy. Nasa na si Ate Guy?
Wala na, you know what, I did that, well, for those, yung mga, baka hindi nila alam, during my younger years, I used to impersonate.
So
Thank you.
You were so good.
You know what, isa siya sa highlights of my youth.
Yes.
I'm not ashamed of it. As a matter of fact, proud ako doon. I even wrote a long, I don't know kung nabasa mo, Facebook page tribute
I saw that.
kay Ate Guy nung namatay siya.
Plus, Ned, nung birthday mo, nung pandemic, talagang nandun kami para sumuport.
Nanood ka pala noon. Oh my God, thank you.
Support. But why did you ever pursue that? Like, for the record so that the public will know. It was because of your dad. Di ba? Parang sabi mo,
Why I left?
Why you did pursue like that acting?
Well kasi well sana naman hindi maano yung father ko in context,
Oo naman.
Born again kasi yung the entire clan.
At naintindihan ng mga tao.
I'm a Gen Z product of so nung 80s hindi naman ganun ka-open, hindi katulad ngayon so during that time, and then she church worker din siya. When he turned 50, he devoted his
Bait mo talaga.
Budsan ako Wala na naman siyang sinabi, but you know, I kind of feel it kasi nagkukwento siya, sila brother, nagkukwento, napanood ka raw nila, nakadamit babae. I know that they are proud of me kasi
Yes.
Hindi naman sa pagmamayabang, magaling naman yung pag-impersonate.
And sabihin mo sa kanila, ikaw yung nagsusulat ng material.
Oh yes. It's a training of a UP sa Mascom sa Live Aids. Pero I took it upon myself kasi for me, nila, kumbaga, before naging born again si Papa, iba talaga siya. Alam mo yun, babaero, lasinggero, all the alak sugal babae, yung mga ganyan siya.
Pero hindi mo
But nag-turn na talaga siya. Kumbaga, nung naging Christian siya, kita mo talaga yung transformation. Tapos, he devoted his life to the service of God. Sabi ko, ayoko naman yung masira yung diskarte niya. Just because of a selfish, But you know, Noel, something in me died. Nung tinigil ko yung Ate Guy. So, nung tinigil ko siya, I decided, parang, the saying na water follows the path of least resistance, nawala yung creative ko doon. So, pag ang tubig hinarangan mo, maghahanap yan ng ibang way para mag-flow. And writing became that next frontier for me.
That's true.
Doon ako naging writer mo in that show. And then, maganda ang dynamic sa ABS-CBN or media,
Yes.
Boss kita, pero we work together also sa Balitan King.
Naman talaga.
Yeah, pero wala tayong ego noon, di ba?
I know. And we were just doing it not for the pay even, di ba? Parang we wanted it because
although the pay was good, lalo na kung collectively kasi parang ABS-CBN would allow you to take hanggang kaya ng katawan mo, sige. So I remember, alam ko parang 6 or 7 sabay-sabay ako na.
Mentoring the young sa Mascom people was part of your mission then nung sinabi mong ayoko na.
Naging rin siya. Parang doon din napunta yung water na sinasabi ko na so I would silently help Live Aids. They would get me as creative consultant. Although hindi na ako nagpapa-recognize kasi parang tama na ako doon, masaya na akong nakakatulong.
And when you became an ABS boss for Global, was it something it was a change of the act,
Ay,
diba?
sobra, yeah.
Diba? Well, you have to decide yung processes, diba? Mga policies, etc. Was there the different Ned that people saw?
Oo, talaga. Kasi, graduate ako ng UP Communication Research. So, college, akala ko magiging researcher ako. Ng mga, research company.
At least may rigor, di ba? Kasi yung mga ibang tao ngayon, di ba, shortcut talaga. Yung pinagdaanan yung pag-research na totoo, di ba?
Pero hindi ko siya na-practice because since I was doing Live Aids and then impersonating Nora, some media professionals thought, ay, creative itong taong to. So Chris Villago and Direk Lauren Jogi, do you write your scripts? Opo. Halika, kunin ka naming writer. So, I thought that it was, punta ka ng ABS-CBN, gano'n. So, I thought, alam mo yun, may exam, ganyan, or may interview. Pagpunta ko doon, sabi ko, attend ka na ng meeting. Tapos sabi ko, pagkatapos ng meeting, binigyan ako ng during the meeting, binigyan ako ng assignment. And then, pagkatapos lapit ako, interview po ba ito? Or anong interview? Start ka na. Ganun. So, yung roots ko was really creative. So, from impersonate, production, writing, which I was enjoying. Pero minsan kasi, when you excel in something like creative, management would think, pwede itong mag-head ng mga creatives din.
Eventually, kasi pag tumanda na ng mga creatives, di ba? Parang kailangan may mag-assume ng position to like herald or shepherd them. But lessons muna when you were in production. Ano pwede mong maibahagi ng mga lessons learned during your stint in production? Writing for us?
I forget already kung sino nagsabi nito. Pero isang head writer, the only way to develop new writers is to give them the break.
That's true.
Napakatotoo, di ba? Parang hindi ko rin naman alam na kaya kong magsulat. Pero nung binigyan ako ng opportunity to write for production, Tatak Pilipino, Balitang K, 5:30, ay, kaya ko pala. Because remember, my orientation is communication research. Hindi nga ako broadcasting ng Masscom UP. Communication research. So, marunong ako magbasa ng statistics,
But with
research.
that, were you careful about what you were writing? Since you're kunyari, research yung yung orientation, parang ingat na ingat ka sa pagsusulat? Or parang sige, sugod ka?
Well, of course, kasi nag-news din tayo with Balitang K. May pagka-playful yung language. But of course, it's still news. So yung facts, dun ako maingat. Pero in terms of yung language, I was given the free hand.
Galing.
So actually, I enjoyed that episode sa ABS ko ng Creative.
Parang dapat i-enjoy mo lang. We were young when we were doing it.
Tapos of course, pag creative ka from writer, continuity writer, magiging head writer ka na, may elevate ka na to creative consultant. Yung pinagdaanan ko yan. But when I went the track of managerial, nag-iba. Parang before I was happy working with concepts, working with words.
Because we have people like Noel Bayani nung naging business unit head.
Kasi you work with systems, you work with projects, you work with people. All of a sudden, ang hinahandle mo na mga HR issues of somebody sexually harassing somebody. And since you're the boss, you have to be sitting there in that panel to decide. Ibang skill siya, people skill na siya. And I must also say, hindi naman siya negative sa ABS because this applies to all industries. There's also politics. Personalities ng mga tao that you have to deal with na,
tumagal ka.
30 years.
Ibig sabihin, in-enjoy mo rin.
30 years. I even have, may resibo ako doon because ABS-CBN gave me the plaque, Service Awards, 30 years.
So we defied, hindi naman, pero some people think kasi our parents, so parang kung saan ka nag-start, you climb the ladder.
Grow where you're planted. Parang ganun.
Kung hindi ka aalis, doon ka talaga maging loyal. Pero naiba na sa panahon natin at a certain point, or because yun, situations arose with what happened to ABS, parang nakita mo na there's life also after that.
Well, the reason din siguro why I stayed that long and that far, 30 years.
Looking back,
Masaya kasi sa media, ABS, pag time na naboborn na, may bagong show.
Totoo.
Or kaya, parang gusto ko yata mag-apply sa iba. Ipopromote ka naman. Parang, yung thought about leaving na ipapark or na isasantabi mo. Kasi may ibang opportunities. Minsan, hindi naman advancement in terms of promotion, pero you're given new projects. So, there was one time that hindi na siya gaano sikat ngayon. The platform, IPTV, yung Internet Protocol Television, I pioneered it. So, kahit hindi ako na-promote, the fact that I was hemming that new platform. Parang, wow, gustong-gusto ko siya.
Galing. Meron kang tips for people na pwedeng sabihin, kunyari, papunta ka na sa burnout, sa management, sa administration, ano yung pwede mong sabihin sa mga tao na, okay, malapit na akong mapuno dito. What do you do? Kasi nakatagal ka for 30 years.
Oo, pero suggestion ko dyan, do a lot of soul searching, be honest, at pag na-feel mo na, leave.
Talaga?
Just like what happened to me. Okay, so, syempre, lahat
sabihin mo
naman...
yung chronology of events.
lahat naman will follow a certain trajectory or path. When ABS-CBN lost its franchise, I was retained. Hindi ako na-retrench. Pero, ang hirap din because I had to talk to my staff.
Yes.
Wala ka ng work. Ganun. Di ba, every time nakakausapin mo
How
sila,
painful
umiiyak.
was that?
Yung iba pa nga kinuha kong ninong sa kasal. Tapos sasabihin mo na wala ka ng trabaho. Hindi ko naman gusto mong i-save pero wala kasi the channels that kung saan sila associated
There's a
were
bigger system.
na-axe na. Wala na. So what will they do nga naman din? So, ang hirap noon, and also dahil kaming natira, dahil nawala yung mga dating thousands of people, sa amin binibigay. Yung binibigay, hindi naman namin competence.
Correct.
So, sometimes, pumapalpak. At dahil pumapalpak ka, napapagalitan.
Sarili mo.
Hindi ka rin masaya.
Yeah.
Especially kagaya natin, mga superstar workers tayo Di ba, nagtatrabaho tayo, not just for money, gusto rin natin siyempre mapuri ng boss or sa sarili natin, masabi natin na, galing, that was a good job.
And that certain point in your career, didn't you fear na, ang hirap na maghanap ng bagong trabaho?
So, aminin ko din siguro, 2 years before I took the early retirement, naka-feel ako ng irrelevance.
Diba?
Pangit yung ganong feeling na parang nire-resist ang system ko staying in ABS just because of the sweldo.
Totoo.
Because I always earn my keep. Contributors tayo workhorses, diba?
Yes.
Pero yun yung na-feel ko parang nagtatanong ka, ano pa po bang pwede kong gawin? Kaya lang, may aminin din ako, Noel, hindi kasi ako nakatransition dun sa digital. So, gustuhin ko man.
Matagal din.
Yung kumbaga, and that was the opportunity then.
That's true.
Fault ko din. Matigas ulo ko produkto ako, I actually prided myself na ako lang may alam sa buong ABS-CBN ng global programming in all platforms.
That's true.
But that was analog.
That's true.
Analog yung expertise ko. Yapang ko pa noon na wala ni isa sa ABS-CBN. Never ako matatanggal. Nawala yung franchise. So nawala na yung analog. Tapos, katigasan ng ulo ko, hindi ko inaral yung digital.
So adaptability was a key.
Minsan ego din kalaban natin.
Totoo rin.
I don't know if it's a Chinese proverb, yung sinabi na the vanity of success invites its own failure. Ang yabang ko kasi.
Complacent.
So, nung time na nawala yung franchise, ABS-CBN decided to go 2 paths. Digital and international. By international, yung non-Filipinos. Yung digital, hindi ko alam. Hindi nga ako minsan nag-check ng social media.
International ka.
But the international are Filipinos. Ang gusto ngayon ng ABS-CBN to export the content to non-Filipinos.
Thus, wala namang makakagawa doon and you led this.
The book.
Culturally intelligent storytelling. What led you to this, kapatid?
So when I reached my 30 years in ABS-CBN,
Naging milestone, naghahanap ka na. Ganun talaga.
nahihiya na rin ako sa ABS. I wanted to, ang ganda kasi ng track record ko.
That's true.
Contributor ako. Ayoko mag-stay just for the sweldo, for the money. Ayoko din yung abot yung time na another wave of retrenchment tapos nasama ka doon kasi I don't want that kind of narrative, di ba?
On my be in control of what you can do.
And I thought the best way to help ABS-CBN was to leave. Because I was no longer contributing. Napaka-humble ko.
How did they take it?
So, ganito kasi ang nangyari. I read about cultural intelligence or CQ in 2018 by this social scientist named Dr. David Livermore, who did the
Yes,
forward of the book.
galing, no?
Diba?
Okay.
So, sabi ko, ano tong cultural intelligence? So, I bought the book. And then while reading it, sabi ko, parang meron ito, yung what global pa nun or
That's
TFC
true.
wants
That's
na
true.
they want kasi to hit the non-Filipino audiences. Pero hindi ko lang alam. Alam mo yung, Noel, yung feeling na parang may nasasalat at may
Meron,
nakakapa ako rito.
yes.
Pero hindi ko lang mawari kung ano.
At nandun pa rin tayo ngayon, no? But trying to like make it work. di ba?
Yeah, and then David Livermore decided to create parang an elite program.
Oh.
Siya mismo ang magli-lead, no? It's called CQ
Okay.
Fellows. It's a fellowship. So in a span of 5 years, kukuha siya ng 20 from all over the world na fellows. Tapos siya mismo magte-train para maging thought leader. But the thought leaders will have to apply CQ to a particular domain. So yung iba, CQ and law, CQ and education. Ako naisip ko, pwede kaya ang CQ and story and media or creative industries, particularly storytelling.
Storytelling.
Kasi
Tama naman.
yun yung problema ng ABS-CBN. So, I went to the big bosses. Kilala naman natin yun. At kilala naman ng mga audiences mo. Si Tita Cory Vidales, si Sir Carlo Katigbak, si Sir Mark Lopez. And then sinabi ko talaga that I got accepted. 30 years. You know, when you reach 30 years in one company,
Institution, yeah.
whether you like it or not, it will really prompt
That's
you
true.
to ask existential questions like, do you stay? Do you want to stay?
yeah.
Or do you want to do other things? Ang dami ko rin gustong
At
gawin.
ano
Like,
pang i-contribute mo, di ba? Yun yung tatanungin mo.
wala na rin akong ma-contribute.
Hello! Ayan na nga.
No, during that time, wala. And I was really convinced sa sarili ko na the best way that I can contribute to ABS was to leave and
do
answer
what? And do what?
and answer your questions. And their question is, how can ABS-CBN content go global?
Ang galing.
Which is what the book is all about.
Galing. Galing,
But
galing.
when I was doing the book, which actually took me 20 years to do,
Like how? Like, where do you see that? Family?
Okay.
Relationships?
Uh-uh. Cultural intelligence is actually based on years of research. If we count the number of years, we could say mga 25 years na. So a quarter of a century, ganun kalalim yung research niya. So the book is not based on opinion.
That's true.
It's really based on
research,
hardcore research, no? Is it okay to go academic then, di ba?
Ang maganda yan, at least you're able to apply na eventually what you learned from the university.
As far as mga 1960s pa, yung mga researchers nila, Gert Hofstede, if you're familiar with that, sila Tropinar, sila Edward Hall, yung mga pinag-aaralan sa anthropology and sociology
Yes.
classes. They contributed to CQ, but CQ, medyo malawak siya. Hindi lang siya isang So sinasabi ng cultural intelligence. Ang cultural intelligence develop talaga, Noel, for companies. So medyo commercial siya.
Okay.
Kasi if you own companies, like for example, nung time na yun, IBM, or more recently, Coca-Cola, Google, ang operation niyan global, all over the world.
Yes.
If you're the manager and you have a Filipino, Pakistani, Australian, Kiwi, Brit, ano pa ba, Portuguese staff, a workforce, nasa hawak mo lahat yan. Nag-away-away. In one room, in one brain cell.
Diba?
Hindi lang yun. How do you manage?
Correct.
So these companies, as a group of researchers, could you study? And then these scholars, kumbaga, found out that you need more than IQ. You need more than EQ. You need a different type of intelligence.
Galing.
And that is cultural intelligence. So, meron silang 4 capabilities doon. Dapat meron kang motivation or tinatawag na
Very
CQ
good.
drive.
Aha.
Meron ding CQ knowledge. Kasi pag sasabihin, ano ba yung cultural intelligence? Dapat pa maging aware. Hindi. Because that is just one of the
the
competences, yung knowledge. But what do you do with that knowledge? Yun yung thinking about thinking or the CQ
Galing,
strategy.
yes.
And then the end is the behavioral or CQ action. Anong gagawin mo with all of that ngayon? Kasi do you adjust? Or do
Galing.
you, what do you do? So,
And eventually, to drive greater results, supposedly, no?
Oh, like for example, yung interest ko talaga is storytelling. We are in the same industry, di ba? Isipin mo, yung mga star cinema movies, can they really penetrate globally or at least regionally, di ba? Or like movies of Direct Jun Lana, di ba? Ang gaganda. Pero would they resonate? So, kung titignan mo, Noel, the word or the verb na ginamit ko dyan is resonate or resonance. Hindi ako nagpa-promise ng hit or click. Kasi mas malalim yung resonance. Yung
tumatagos.
Dama mo, di ba? Dama mo. So, actually, the book is offering a different way for media professionals. For example, you are a distributor. Ang tanong kasi, who will buy this? But the book is advocating who will feel this story.
To whom will this resonate?
Yung ganun. So like for example, yung mga pelikula ng Filipino.
It's true.
Will they really resonate sa Anglo? When I say Anglo, ito yung US, UK, Australia, Canada, English speaking mostly. Will they resonate? The book discusses that, and we will discuss it here.
Well, here you introduce the CIS bamboo framework. Why bamboo?
Bamboo because when you
metaphor ba yun sa kind of storytelling that you would want?
Yes.
Or what you're advocating for?
Yeah, kasi yung I discussed there some metaphors din na ginagamit ng sociology, which is the iceberg of culture. That what I see, what you see in me, tip lang ito, but yung mas malalim dyan is the cultural and personal. And since the book is a framework, I need more than
paraan ng pagtingin.
Hindi lang kasi concepts. Kailangan ko ng parang skeleton, frame, sampayan, or scaffolding, di ba? Conceptual scaffolding na mas madali sa isang writer or director na masakyan. So, ano yun? So, sabi ko, napaka-western nitong wala namang tayong icebergs sa Pilipinas, di ba? We don't grow with icebergs. But we grow with bamboos. Very interestingly, din ako nahirapan kasi parang, ano kayang metaphor? I thought about the pyramid. Tapos masyado na akong into writing, na hinabol ako hanggang sa pagtulog ko. Kasi nanaginip ako nung para ako nasa Forest of Bamboos, parang yung nasa Tokyo, ay sa Japan bamboo of Tapos paggising ko, nag-stick, hindi ko na maalala yung kwento nung dream, pero naalala ko yung bamboo, tapos nasabi ko sa bibig ko, bamboo! Ito yung framework. And then when I started studying the bamboo, I realized it's the perfect metaphor for Southeast Asia. Kasi
the resilience and all,
akala mo yung mga nakatusok na ganyan, but deep sa ilalim niyan, beneath the surface, yung roots niya, what is called as the rhizome, magkakadikit yan And Southeast Asia is like that. Magkakaano tayo, pero pare-pareho tayo ng roots because
light bulb moment.
Kasi diba, isang academic is that we come from the same roots, yung Austronesian roots, diba? And then metaphorically, maganda din siya kasi for a story, kasi ang bamboo di ba pataas na gano'n, parang ang pinakamataas niya is the leaf, di ba? Pero para siya umakyat ng gano'n, ang pinaka-importante talaga is the root. So if you look at a story, for example, Sisa. What is the cultural DNA of the story of Sisa? Kasi doon natin makikita kung hanggang saan siya pwedeng tumaas.
At maka-apekto sa mga tao.
Kasi yung the next part, so the book talks about 4 phases or stages, story, root, story craft, story pulse, story leaf, lahat yan part nung bamboo. So, if you want,
when you had that metaphor, parang na-capture niya talaga para maintindihan ng mga tao mas how did you feel? 20 months of really research?
Baka nakakakurta ng utak, wala akong ginawa kung hindi, So like for example, according to...
But you were doing your PhD during that time.
I know I stopped because ang hirap fellowship at di ba? Nung natapos ko yung fellowship, tsaka ako bumalik ng PhD.
Okay.
Kasi sabay yung fellowship ko and at the same time writing the book.
Okay. Did it
Mahirap
help
yun,
that you were out of ABS when you're doing this?
Oh yeah.
Or could you have done this habang nasa ABS ka at lubog-lubog ka sa sistema?
Ano yung saying that you're close to the trees to see the forest? Parang
the forest.
So hindi mo makita
Yes.
yung... Tsaka when you're inside, you're
A bigger
attached,
view, no? That's
you're
true.
emotionally attached.
That's true.
So you, in a way, defend yung ABS.
Oo.
Pero pag wala ka na, nakikita mo. So like for example, iba na yung pagtingin ko on how they report news or they do storytelling, yung ganyan.
Sa workshop ni Sir Ricky Lee, sabi niya gano'n, kailangan, ang ano natin as creators, masyado natin pinoprotektahan yung mga bida. Pero sa storytelling talaga, mas binabangga mo sila sa pader at sa mga bagay-bagay. Sa pader, yun nga, mas lumalawak, mas sinasaktan mo yung mga bida, mas tumatatag. So yun yung nangyayari. So, while we may be so protective of our leads, habang marami silang nasa-surmount ng mga problema, mas gumaganda yung narrative mo. Diba? So, but you were conscious not to fall into the risk of over-exoticizing, tapos at saka over-naturalizing the story. Totoo ba yun?
Oo, kasi I won't mention titles, no?
Yes,
But,
yes.
Wag naman sana magalit sa akin ng ABS-CBN. Now that I know about the framework, I know how to explain why this title ay hindi
Click.
resonate
Ayaw mo
na.
ng click, yeah.
And if it's okay, Noel, I'll like to briefly discuss about the cultural intelligence framework.
Sige, go.
According to cultural intelligence research, na ang daming nag-aral, no, pwede mong suri ang iba't ibang kultura ng 4 dimensions. 4 dimensions. 10 cultural dimensions. Number 1 is identity.
Tama naman.
There are societies that are individualist.
Yes.
And there are societies that are collectivists. Okay.
Yun.
Philippines ay collectivist. Alam mo, when I was in the US, I was invited by Cedars-Sinai Medical Hospital in Beverly Hills to give
Maraming
a talk.
Pinoy doon.
Puro nurse. Sabi
Nurse, yes.
And then, the one briefing we said, kasi yung mga non-Filipinos, may issue sila sa mga Filipino health workers. Sabi ko,
Kasi they bond
bakit?
together.
Parati kasing kumakain ng sabay. Ako talaga. But can I talk to them?
Cultural.
And when you talk to Filipino nurses, kumakain daw kayo ng sabay. Ba't ka na makakain ng sabay? Nakakalungkot kumain mag-isa. Ba't kumakain ka bang mag-isa? Alam mo, that was so insightful. I realized that an individualist, kumain mag-isa.
Sayang oras,
like,
diba?
Ano yung mga individualist cultures? US, UK,
Japan,
Canada.
somehow.
I know, collectivist din yan. According to research, collectivist yan.
Okay. So, yung pagka-Asia nila nandun. No?
Collectivist, Philippines collectivist, Southeast Asia collectivist.
Okay.
Actually, I think, according to research, 70% of the world collectivists. So, what does that translate to in storytelling? Look at the stories of Star Cinema. Di ba puro about family?
That's true.
But look at the stories na kinakagat ng mga US, for example. Hindi ba sila yung nagfo-fall under the hero's journey? That the individual is more important. Important ng family, but Noel, we all know about Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yes.
Ano yung top of the pyramid? Di ba? Self-actualization.
Yes.
My
God, my favorite movie so far, at gusto ko yung writing, Past Lives, was like that.
Individualist story.
Yung parang nagkita sila sa Korea, taga-Korea sila, pero she went to pursue her dream sa New York.
That's a very individualist.
Yes. Tapos nakahanap siya ng asawa doon, pero may connection pa rin sa childhood sweetheart niya sa Korea. Tapos sinundan siya doon, but yun parang, it's my dream.
Yeah. So, on that dimension alone, meron na tayong maraming issues.
Yeah.
Kasi, the book is saying that cultures, if you analyze the cultural DNA of a story, mas magre-resonate siya sa medyo core cluster
That's true.
or mga related or what I call as cousin clusters. Filipino stories, and this is backed by data ha. I did a talk last Feb sa ABS-CBN and I said, could you give me data? Saan yung mga contracts ninyo? I want figures.
My God.
And then, hindi ko naman nakita yung ano, but sino
Yung mga
mga
countries,
sino mga
diba?
bumili, ano mga
Yes,
ganyan,
yes.
ganyan. Isa doon, Africa. Because the cultural DNA of
Pareho.
Africa is almost the same as the Philippines.
Okay, na family-oriented.
Family, gustong-gusto nila yan.
Okay.
Collectivist, yung community, gustong-gusto yan.
Correct.
Okay.
Nature, di ba? Parang
Yes.
very...
Another dimension is authority. How do you treat power? May concept si Geert Hofstede ng
nako.
high power distance, low power distance. Do you ever wonder, Noel, kung bakit ang mga Pinoy, ay, Sir Noel, or kaya Ma'am Tessie.
Yes.
I mean, others would say, ay, may inferiority complex sa mga Pilipino. Hindi nila matanggal sa vocabulary nila yan. But, viewing it from CQ,
That's true.
ang sasabihin ng CQ dyan, because Filipinos operate on high power distance dimension. Ano yung ibig sabihin ng high power distance? Kung ito yung power, gaano ka kalayo sa power? Ang Pilipino, masyadong mataas. Ang mga Amerikano, masyadong mababa.
Totoo.
That explains why ang mga Amerikano, ang boss nila, hey Joe, can you,
Yes,
para sa mga
correct,
Pilipino,
Joe.
ang bastos naman nun. Hindi man lang easier yung ano.
Equality,
Because
yes.
sa society, sa culture nila, it's okay to question authority.
That's true.
Power is not regarded as something very high na dapat mong katakutan.
Kasi tayo rin naman nagbibigay, supposedly.
It's something na
power
pwede mong
yun,
questionin, and
Yeah.
leaders are there to just facilitate.
Yeah.
Not somebody that you will revere. But,
Iba sa atin.
Japanese,
Yeah.
Koreans, Filipinos, di ba?
Very.
So, kung ganun, Noel, dalawang dimension lang yan. And I said, 10 yan. Isipin mo, if a story is family-oriented, tapos ang tingin pa nila sa power, ang taas,
Yes.
doon pa lang do you think that an American
May disconnect na.
ano doon sa ano? Kasi parang, okay, gawin kong tatlo yung
Yes,
dimension.
go.
Kasi, of course, it took me a year to study,
Yeah, of
20 months to
course,
write
of
it.
course.
We cannot explain
Yeah.
the entire book in
Agad-agad,
this in this
Yes.
podcast, no?
But please.
Hindi, pero yung
read
isa
it.
pa.
Go.
Universalism and particularism. Ay ito yung how do you treat rules? Kasi sa mga societies like Scandinavia, yung mga Finland, yung mga Denmark, di ba? Ang batas ay batas.
At ang lungkot daw ng Pasko doon.
Oo, nga.
Kahit doon tanggaling si Santa Claus, di ba? Oo.
So, very universalist
Yes,
approach. Now,
yes.
ano yung
Flip
spectrum
side,
nito is the particularist. Di ba? Particularist, kumbaga, okay lang mag-bend ng rules. Di ba? Okay lang, makaya ng society yung nagbe-bend ng rules. So, halimbawa, nahuli ka ng police. Katulad nito, nung nasa ABS ako, patawad na, pero, pasensya na, boss. Labas ID. May
Okay na
taping
po.
po kasi kami.
That's
Siyempre naman yung mga, taga ABS,
excuse
ABS.
na.
Sige po. Next time, ha? Because,
Wala yung batas ay batas.
kasi particularist.
That's true.
Di ba? Parang malaking bagay yung affiliation mo. Di ba? Ay, malaking bagay yung
Power
sino yung
even.
kilala mo.
Yes,
Yung
yes.
ganyan, di ba? So, kung ang kwento ay ganon. So, halimbawa, sa study ni Tropinars, di ba? Kapag ba nakasakay ka sa isang kotse at ang bilis ng takbo, nagdadrive kaibigan mo, nakasagasa, sinabihan ka ng lawyer, will you, pwede ba bang sabihin sa korte na 40 kilometers per hour lang ang takbo? So, hindi naman talaga kasalanan ng kaibigan mo. Will you do it? That's the exact question nung research. So, pag sinabi mong Ay, oo, isisave ko kasi kaibigan ko. You're operating on a particularist orientation. Pero pag, hindi, ang batas ay batas, kay kaibigan ko pa yan, universalist ka. So, yan yung ibig ko sabihin ng cultural DNA. Kung ang kwento mo, pampamilya, ang tingin mo sa power, mataas, tapos ganyan pa yung logic mo in terms of rules, magre-react dyan yung mga magre-react dyan yung, like for example, somebody from Finland would say, that's so unfair. This is so unfair. Doon pa lang magre-react na. So how do you expect them? How do you expect them na yung content mo magre-resonate? So magre-resonate yan in cultural clusters.
Totoo.
Close to the DNA of that story.
Headline pa lang ngayon, di ba? Na yung mga taga Cebu, binabalaan yung mga congressmen or senator na pag pumabar daw sa impeachment, patay na yung kanilang political career. Ganon. Di ba? So, parang, hindi mo pwedeng mapanagot muna. Di ba? Wala pang judgment. Panagutin lang muna. Tapos tingnan natin, suriin natin.
Oh, that's particularism.
Yes. So, yun nga.
Pero di ba sa mga ibang yan?
Oo, transparency.
Why is it like that?
Oo, kailangan panagutin.
So yun yung I mean, this is what I want to evangelize to the creative people. Kasi,
ayan na,
religious na. Hindi kasi sometimes masyado silang
that's true.
Passionate that this is a story that must be told. Yeah, but sometimes if you want to hit other cultures, broader market, hindi mo na kultura yun eh.
Totoo.
And you have to be cognizant na this exists because research says so. Decades of research says so. Imagine 25 years of research and every now and then, like 5-7 years, nagko-conduct ulit sila ng another research.
Kasi baka may mga bago.
Yun din ang lumalabas. Meaning, these are natural tendencies. Kasi of course, we have to be careful. Baka, syempre yung ibang scholars would say, you're stereotyping. Hindi po. What I'm saying is, according to research, these are tendencies of some cultures. So, the book is, actually that's part 2 of the book. I was explaining, ito yung mga dimensions ng cultural intelligence. But part 3 of the book teaches them, okay, kung meron ka nitong knowledge na ito, how do you then craft a narrative na mag-hit yun? And I did 3 or 4 case studies. Kalimutan ko na. Alam ko 4 eh.
Yeah.
There's Parasite ng Korea, di ba?
I saw it. Best foreign language.
Yeah. Yung Dark of Germany.
Yeah.
Money Heist of Spain.
Yes.
And then
How to Make Millions.
Okay.
Yes.
If you look at this, ang ginawa ko kasi, I asked, para modern, no? AI. Pero syempre, sabi nila AI, commits mistakes, di ba? Okay, so ang ginawa ko ganito, 4 or 5 AI, ayan, Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, DeepSeek, tsaka Copilot. Diba? Sabay-sabay kayo. Bigyan nyo ako ng listahan, same prompt na, ng non-Anglo, meaning non-English, na content titles na naging global hit in the last 10 years. And they gave all the 4 answers. Doon pa lang, Noel, it already is very insightful kasi it will already give you that, na Hollywood is no longer the center of stories.
True.
Meron ng bago. Spain, siyempre Korea, South Korea, yung second na yata sa Hollywood. There's Spain, there's Germany with Dark. Ang nandun din, pero hindi kasi, hindi lahat ng AI nag-agree. India, with RRR, di ba? Yes. Tapos meron silang isang binanggit na hindi global, pero notable. Thai. How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies.
Totoo rin naman.
Napanood mo siya, di ba?
Okay. Major.
Ayan actually yung nag-crack ng code eh. Kasi nung sinusulat ko na yung libro, nagkaroon ako ng dead end. Sabi ko, paano ko ba gagawin tong framework? Kasi alam ko na yung theories ng cultural intelligence. Paano ba to? And then, nagtitiktok ako minsan. Nakita ko may mga Gen Z,
si Bilky.
Binivideo nila, manonood ng sine. Tapos habang nanonood, binivideo na yung sarili nila. Tapos mamaya umiiyak. Tapos habang dandulo, sobrang luha hanggang sa paglabas. Nanonood sila ng How to Make Millions Before Grandma. Tapos meron pala Noel, na How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies, crying challenge. Meron siyang ganun sa Indonesia. Nakikita mo, nakasuot ng abaya yung mga, Singapore, Malaysia, lahat. I don't know if it's organic or marketing ng
Whatever it is, it work. Diba?
But kasi Gen X nga ako, sabi kong ganun, I will never do that, na ipapakita ko sa buong mundo yung pag-iyak ko. But I realized, probably this is Gen Z's way of expressing appreciation and resonance, na umiiyak na ganun. Tapos sabi ko, bakit ito? And then, nag-search ako sa internet, sabi ko, how to make millions. Tina-track ko. My God, number 1 in Thailand.
Yes.
Number 1 in Singapore. Number 1 in Indonesia. In the Philippines, blockbuster hit. Malaysia, Myanmar, China. Alam mo yung ko, sabi ko, wait, may pattern. These are all collectivists. Cultures.
That's true.
High power distance. Particularly, yung mga diniscuss ko sa'yo. May mga hindi pa ako diniscuss na yung dimension of being, yung time, yung ganyan. But look at its performance in the US.
Hindi masyado. Okay lang.
Because ang theory ko,
it's not even major Oscar thing, di ba? Hindi
I think it pumasok pero hindi nanalo. But my theory there is, it was too collectivist for an individualist society such as the US. It was too high power distance for a low power distance society like Australia. Yung mga ganyan, yan yung gusto kong ituro sa mga creatives.
Pag tinanong, sino yung target mo talaga? Is it like being global or really like educating the Filipino or catering to the Filipinos? Yun nga, yung next question is also, paano yung sinabing sa mga kind of producer na, your story is too local.
Okay.
What would you tell the filmmaker then?
Ang kwento ay parang anak. Meron siyang kakayahan. So, may kakayahan siya na kaya niyang i-reach.
That's true.
Mahalin mo yun. Kasi hanggang dun yung kaya niyang marating.
Ganda.
Oo. So, halimbawa, ang mga Filipino stories, I'm in the book, no? I know that they will appeal to collectivist cultures, high-power distance cultures, such as, Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa cluster, South Asian cluster. I would even say Latin America, halos pareho
Okay.
Pero medyo mahihirapan tayo on Anglo, meaning yung US, mahihirapan din sa Germanic
pero
cluster. Kaya. Pero, and the thing there, I think, is really authenticity.
Totoo din Dapat hindi yung, yun yung target natin, ito na, kahit hindi na.
The book is saying, medyo radical yung book, kasi sinasabi niya, huwag kang magdikta sa mga writers mo, telling, we have to go global, we have to go global. Though,
it just flows.
Hayaan mo silang maging malaya. Isulat nila.
Totoo.
After isulat, may framework. The framework provides a method. I-match mo yan. Doon pa lang makikita mo, hindi pa na lumalabas yung film makikita mo na most likely this will resonate to this.
Diba?
Ganyan, oo.
And conscious yung decision, di ba? Binary kasi yan
Yes.
Will you become yung family or yung that, or
actually it's really more spectrum yung iba. Kasi hindi naman siya
one or the other.
Pwede kang gitna din di ba?
Okay, hanapin mo yun.
Hanapin mo yun, and then din yung
Ganun.
kasi yung ugat so yun yung natural way niya na paglago. But meron akong hindi ko pa siya fully na de-develop, no? Baka that could be part
the
2.
next one.
I think Korea was able to
yung grafting. Paano, di ba? May mga ganon na pwede.
With Parasite. Kasi, I hope you still remember the two families.
Yes.
The Parks family is individualist.
That's true.
The Kims, collectivist. Low power distance yung Parks, high power distance yung Kims. Di ba? Yung mga ganong dimension na
that's true.
Na paglaruan ni Bong, the writer-director, di ba? Yung mga dimensions, and ito yung napaglaruan niya na kahit pag American, may kinapitan.
Yes.
Kasi may individualist family.
Correct.
Pero
Those-
kapit din sa atin kasi collectivist tayo.
Correct.
Although,
Nagtunggalian. Tapos,
ang galing kasi niya magtimpla.
Kill,
Now,
kill.
tatanungin mo, oy, bakit Ned? Alam ba ni, direct Bong, di ba? Yung cultural intelligence, storytelling. I would say,
Malay mo.
alam intuitively.
Yeah.
Wala lang siyang name for
Concept.
that.
Yeah.
So actually, what I did in the book, pinapractice na yan ng mga,
Parang you gave
I gave a
word.
name.
Yeah, for it.
words, name to
That's true.
I would say even sila direct Jun Lana, alam na nila yan, the creative
Pero
writers
pag
of
conscious pa
ABS.
sila lalo dyan, di ba? Mas
Yun kasi,
matitimpla nila eh.
yun, they have
That's
to be
true.
aware of it eh.
Now, putting your former hat as a media executive, how could a major network use yung concept of story pulse or story leaf stages of your framework to better acquire, distribute, and market content from Southeast Asia for a global audience?
Well, yan yung hope ko. Kasi hindi lang naman for ABS, but also for Viva, Riga,
That's why you're doing this. Kaya, pwede po siyang magbigay ng talk to really
Yes,
show you
I'm
this
open
kind
to
of
it.
perspective, di ba?
Yeah. I think openness because it shows a different way of storytelling.
Galing.
Kasi when, di ba normally ang storytelling, think of your audience, think of your audience, think of your audience.
Yes,
The book
yes,
is saying, no!
Yes.
Think of your story,
What you
think of
want
your
to
story.
say, yes.
Think of your story.
Kasi ito talaga,
Huwag yung audience.
Tinuro din sa creativity sa dito, no? Na if you think of your audience, think of the audience in mind at first, para kang prostitute. Hindi ba?
I think yung ganung approach siguro pwede sa marketing pero for content
Pero,
creation.
yung kung iisipin mo ano yung gusto mong sabihin muna at yun yung i-offer mo, parang mas kakaiba, mas may integrity, no?
Yes, and then so think of the story. Tapos, now for distributors, mas madali kasi the framework.
Klaro.
Klaro.
Yeah,
Kasi bibigyan ka niya eh. Halimbawa,
Galing.
itong isang title, makikita mo 10 yung cultural clusters. Yung mga binabanggit kong Anglo, South Asian, Germanic. Pag ima-match mo siya, hindi siya foolproof, ano? Look at it more as a guide or a map. Most likely, mag-hit diyan. But, minsan kasi parang may outlier eh. Parang outlier success eh, na parang, bakit yung gano'n nag-big hit?
Saka marami namang iba pang factors, like kunyari, artista rin mo.
Marketing, di ba yung
technical polish even, no? At that's it's assumed in all.
Yeah. I have one chapter in the book where I discuss about the difference between resonance versus acceptance. Pwede kasi that your story resonates to a Muslim culture.
Pero hindi matanggap.
Pero may gay character kasi. So yung gatekeeper or decision maker, we like the story, but your character is gay, or the main character always prays to Jesus Christ. But we're a Muslim country. So yun may ganun di ba? Pwede kasi yung kwento mo, may malakas yung resonance. Pero yung acceptability to that culture, may ganung factor din.
Huwag mo sabihin kay Nick Deocampo kasi paano yun? Natanong natin mamaya. Paano yung global acceptance ng mga ganung stories, di ba?
Yeah. Magandang
reflection point yun, no?
But it's a reality. Like for example, ABS-CBN, International Sales and Distribution, validates that there are content ng ABS-CBN hindi nakakapasok in some cultures because
the Vice Ganda hits.
Yes, kasi nga may ganong culture sarado. Like Singapore, for example, sila dyan, di ba? Hindi, wala namang sama sa content natin. It's that their culture is not, this is what I call, the culture is not yet culturally prepared. Hindi pa sila handa. Pero nagbabago naman ang culture Malay mo later on, but at this point, hindi pa.
Parang it will find its audience sa tamang oras.
Tamang oras, pero kung gusto mo na sa tamang lugar, itong mga kulturang malapit sa iyo.
But this one landed you a job in Ateneo too. So thank you for like trying to teach this in Ateneo. Talk about your class and how it came about.
I gave a copy of the book to the chair,
Okay.
Dr. Christine Cox. Hi to you, Doc.
Galing. And then,
She invited me for a
Galing.
meeting. Ganun din, I thought it was an interview, so ready ako with, outfit-wise and then PowerPoint. But it was so casual, and he asked me about the book and my PhD dissertation topic. Very, ganun, pero very casual. And then, ayun na nga, he asked me to teach, she asked me to teach Com 42, which is writing for film. But I told Dr. Cox, but Doc, could we expand it
Galing. At least ganun ka-open,
to include not just film, but also TV and streaming?
Content.
Kasi sabi ko,
Yeah.
yung lalim ng aking experience, really TV, di ba?
That's true, that's
Di ba yung mga training natin noon?
Yes,
Well,
yes.
ako noon kay Direct Gloria and Chris, Calvento Files, docudrama,
Yes.
di ba? And I also wrote for I Want, so meaning I have a track record for streaming.
narratives,
Oo,
yes,
ganyan. And then she was very open, and she said that we're in the process of actually reviewing that course kasi we all know naman, di ba, the film industry is well, ayoko sabihin down, pero hindi pa siya nakakabalik in its
And it's trying to look
So, maganda rin
for
that's-
out of a formula.
Yeah, maganda rin that students learn not just film writing for film, but also writing for streaming like Netflix. And then it was Dr. Cox who said, why not include some sessions so you can talk about your book to your students, because I think they would welcome a fresh approach.
Kumusta ang reception, kapatid? How can you teach this dun sa media studies, for example, and people shaping people's minds with mga new generation storytellers based on your concept?
You know what? Siyempre,
Nagugulat sila na,
I come
ganon.
from UP, from my college, MA to
That's true.
PhD, but
I
magbibigay
wanna
po
know.
kayo ako sa Ateneo.
No, I wanna know.
Magagaling ang mga Atenista. It wasn't difficult to teach them the dimensions. As a matter of fact, I required them to do a story route analysis of the story that they want to do story on. Ang gagaling nila. They know how to apply
we're
it.
really a teaching university, no? Ateneo is.
Oo.
Yan,
Yeah.
I taught in UP too. It's more really a research university. Aminin din natin yun.
Oo naman.
Na tipong bibigyan ka ng readings. Talagang readings sa UP. Talagang and they're really all for production of new thought. Yun ang ng UP. But here, may pagmo-mold.
Oo.
How different is it?
Well, hindi pa ako nagturo sa UP, pero
no?
produkto ako ng UP.
Yun nga. So, gaano ka iba, kapatid?
Dito masarap i-mold kasi receptive. Like, wala silang resistance on the framework. And then I asked them to do a story route. Kasi since it's a writing class, diba? To think culture. Parang early on, isipin mo na itong kultura, hindi lang yung may idea ka, personal mong buhay, gusto mong isulat sa isang screenplay, di ba? Ilawakan mo, widen the lens. Lagyan mo na nitong cultural dimension. Nagugulat ako when they submit assignments. Sabi ko, ay, ang gagaling.
Actually,
gagaling nila.
Pero ito, kasi we had the privilege of like experiencing both universities, no? Yung plurality of ideas, you get it.
Dito?
Dito. Or lahat medyo privilege. Or lahat medyo faith-based. Not to demean it, pero
ano ibig sabihin ng faith-based? Yung religion?
It's so prayerful and all. Na okay kasi yun yung DNA na sabi mo nga, yun yung innately Ateneo. But paglabas kasi sa mundo, somehow kakaiba rin, di ba? So kumusta so far?
Well, I think it's a very Ateneo, yung man for others.
Yes.
I see that even in their stories. Yung stories na sinasubmit nila na hindi selfish, yung kumbaga may ganung din.
Yes.
Yun yung na-notice ko sa mga stories ng mga students.
Kumusta yung pagiging privileged? I wanna ask that. Yung tipong,
Naku, baka naman magalit sa akin ng Ateneo about
may comment ba on social class at least? Or
what I notice about nila, and I think baka ganun yung generation nila.
Yeah.
It's really more on anong tawag nito? Maraming mga kwento on sexuality or orientation.
Nandun sila
that
doon,
it's not something, it's normal. Yung ganun yung nila. Hindi siya like for example, I have
ayaw mo sabihin nung panahon natin, hindi pwede. yun, no?
Kasi like may isang kwento parang love story siya. Tapos pareho kasing ang characters ay parehong gay or lalaki. So I asked, are they gay yung mga characters? So, but sir, I don't want to focus on that. It's on the ganyan. Okay. So, hindi nila, may ganung sila. And that's a very progressive, di ba? Hindi katulad ng generation natin. Diba?
Ililimit na agad din. Well, I'll bring it to a practical application now. During a national crisis like what we have now, leaders and media often struggle to communicate in a way that unifies people. What role does the knowledge of culturally intelligent storytelling play in crisis communication?
Okay.
Katulad ngayon.
Last year, I was invited by the Asian University Network. Dito sa Ateneo din, they asked me to...
Ito talaga yung audience mo yan?
They asked me to give a talk about yung climate education.
No, how can we have shared faith, rather than fear, rather than yung division, which is very prevalent.
Yeah.
Now.
So, ang gusto kong i-point dito, kaya ko nabanggit yon, is that to be effective in terms of communication, dapat may culture. So, like for example, the dimension of collectivism, because my PhD is Philippine Studies. May lalim pa yung collectivism na yan the concept of kapwa. Ikaw at ako ay iisa, and that is kapwa. So in
communal philosophy, no?
Yes. So in terms of communication, you don't appeal to the individualistic dimension. You appeal to the collectivist. Kasi ano mang mahalaga sa Pilipino? Pamilya. Or community. So kung ganyang may mga crisis, and I think even politicians could use this, di ba? Use culture to be effective. Kumbaga, ganyang may crisis, kung may message ka, frame it in such a way na ang stake nasa pamilya, nasa kapwa. Hindi yung sa sarili. Kasi hindi naman talaga tayo individualistic society. We're more, di ba? Or, katulad niyan, knowing that Filipino culture is high power distance, how could you use it? Di ba? In communication, for example, power distance tayo or the teachers.
That's true.
Yan yung di ba? Yan yung mga kumbaga pillars yan ng high power distance. We believe sa teachers, we believe sa pare. Hindi ganyan yung mga Amerikano kasi hindi nila culture yan So yun I think in crisis situation,
focus on the communal.
Sa collectivism dimension pa yan pero madami pa yung ang dami if they read the book.
Now we talk about the post-truth era, biktima ako dyan recently, where yung in crafting narratives, where disinformation is used to widen divides. What is a storyteller's responsibility given this, no? So how does a creator stay culturally intelligent without accidentally validating harmful narratives or deepening yung polarization?
Well, kasi sa post-truth era, any
diba?
can be diba?
With the trolls and all.
Well, you know what? There's also the danger of yung gagamitin din yung CQ.
Yes. Because they can have access to this, no?
Yeah, but you know what?
Or pipiliin mo yung bibigyan mo ng talk.
Hindi na. Actually, CQ, dahil 25 years na siya, it's in the internet. They can, just Google or AI it. Lalabas na siya. Pero it's really more the application na hindi... Yun kailangan matutunan eh. Like yung sinasabi ko sa iyo kanina, kung magagamit yung CQ in crisis situation, ano yung flip side nun? Magagamit din yan. Kasi nasabi mong post-truth, fake news era, di ba? Kasi kung alam nila yan, may mga ganyan.
Uy, tago mo na. Nasa yun naman yan.
Knowledge is in the cloud. Nasa Google na yan. So,
Anyway, next. Looking beyond media and entertainment, how could leaders in other sectors like government, non-profits, or public health apply the framework of, cultural intelligence storytelling to create policies and programs that are not only effective but are also communicated in a way that feels respectful and resonant even to diverse audiences and communities.
Alam mo, dapat yung mga senators turuan ng CQ eh. So that, the laws na ginagawa nila is attuned to the culture of the Filipino. Hindi yung parang kinopya lang dahil may nagpasa ng ganito ang US and all, di ba? So I guess that's one. So that policymakers or those affecting rules and regulations mas aligned with the realities of our cultural dimensions. Kasi kung ganon, walang resistance. Kasi isipin nila, may isipin ng mga tao,
isinaalang-alang nila kami.
I felt seen.
Yes.
Hindi yung parang taliwas sa culture mo, tapos sinasaksak, sundin mo to. Hindi naman ganun. For example, yung dimension of particularism, ayun yung leeway na tinatawag sa English yung parang meron namang konting konsiderasyon, di ba? Syempre, pag batas, di ba? Yan yung challenge ngayon sa mga lawmakers. Dapat may mga ganung
So, how do you know that yung purpose mo dito, yung objective mo dito is met? When do you say you're successful in making this book?
I will be very honest and transparent in saying that the book is all theorization or theorizing. Wala pa siyang proof of concept.
Yun ang next book.
Wala pang, hindi naman.
Next.
Iniisip kong gumawa ng isang book or kung may makita akong isang script sa mga estudyante ko na ina-applyan. That's already proof of concept, di ba? But I really hope those the media practitioners will give the framework the chance na try nyo lang. Baka naman this is what is lacking. Kasi alam mo ang nangyayari kasi
or mag-enroll sila sa'yo, no?
Ang nangyayari kasi, Noel, okay, we do the festival route.
Totoo
Pero kasi yung iba yung ano ba tawag doon? Parang iba yung critics resonance kaysa sa audiences resonance Parang
yung iba nga, yung kung ano yung gusto ng kritiko ayaw ng audience. Or kung ang audience, iba yung mga kritiko, di ba?
Ito kasi ang gustong
tinatry.
Yung ano talaga, yung mas nakararami kasi ito yung sinabi ng research. Sana may mga creators subukan kasi pag nag-resonate overseas, hindi ko naman siya tagumpay ng Pilipino.
Galing.
Or kung may Southeast Asian, di ba? Tagumpay ng Southeast Asia. Sana man lang, because I plan to do
more talks like this.
Southeast Asia.
Totoo.
So ang ibig ko sabihin, Noel, the book is written not just for Filipinos but for the bigger community kasi
so you can see
collectivism.
yourself also translating this in languages that people can kunyari Thai.
Yes.
Di ba? Parang that's a way to propagate it.
Yeah. But somebody gave me feedback na generally naman yung mga creators, kaya na rin naman daw nila yung English. Okay. But I plan to go to all Southeast Asian countries. Di ba may nadagdag
is available. And then other things, other plans for the book.
Okay.
Audiobook?
Yeah, we're coming up with an audiobook. So currently, the book is available Globally, it was launched last November 4 in Santa Monica, California. O, di ba?
Social.
Social pa siya. So, available na po. Nauna yung global
At
launch
magkakaroon ka
niya.
dito, kailan? Kasi sinasabi.
Yeah, so available siya this March. Actually, next week.
Okay.
Beginning this Sunday, it will be available at Shopee, Lazada, and TikTok
Finally.
Shop. Finally. And then, in April, yung audiobook niya.
Galing.
On Amazon. Pwede bang banggitin yung brand?
Go.
Amazon, iTunes, and other, I think Spotify also, but not Spotify Philippines.
Whose
Spotify.
voice? You? Yay!
Yes.
Galing! At least, through that, at least naririnig ka na namin umaarte ulit.
Umaarte ulit. Ang hirap din pala mag-record ng ano.
So, nakapag-record ka na with all the,
Hindi pa tapos.
Okay.
Oo.
Sige. Pag ano. And yun nga, with all those platforms na pwede nilang subaybayan, ano pa? Book Talk?
Oh yeah. So, kumbaga...
and more of these explanations and all these.
Yeah, the book talk, and then so in terms of activations, iba-iba yan eh. I'm doing rounds of academe. Okay bang banggitin? Ateneo will be the very first academic institution.
When will
because
that be?
sometime April
Okay, that's good.
with this is spearheaded by the Rizal Library.
Galing,
I'm so
ang
happy
galing, ang galing.
na yun. And then UP also. Syempre, home.
Dapat lang. And eventually, probably, because yun nga, we have such a good library in Quezon City, baka yun, the universities.
Yeah, and then I also want to go yung mga media. I started na with ABS-CBN, yung ibang media companies din. And then also...
calling FDCP and Film
yes,
Academy of the
institutions like
Philippines,
FDCP.
or DGTI or the Scriptwriters Guild of the Philippines.
Yes.
Pwede ganyan.
So,
diba?
kung tatanungin mo, what's next? Well, this year, I just want to focus sa Philippine activation. Muna. Kasi malaki. Go all over the Philippines.
And please, wag kayong hihingi ng libro. Bumili po kayo. Bumili ako. Pero kailangan parang, well, that's your tulong na rin, di ba? For, kasi knowledge is not free.
And ako ba, because nisip ko, ano bang cultural dimension ng mga Pilipino yan? Siguro yung part din yan ng collectivism na
perks, parang perks and all. So, here, what do you read now? I want to know.
What do I read now?
Apart from like, I don't know, what do you read? What do you consume?
Okay. Because I'm finishing my dissertation.
Ano?
I'm reading a lot of theory books.
Pa rin?
Yeah.
And ano ba yan?
Hindi, sana nga
excite ka doon na, okay.
Oh yeah, because syempre...
laban sa Alzheimer's at dementia.
Hindi, syempre din, matagal ko na rin mga pangarap maging doktor, di ba? At saka dahil nasa academe na ako ngayon, ano pa ba ang highest educational attainment? But to be may comma PhD ka sa dulo ng pangalan.
That's a politics of academe. What do you listen to? Music?
You know what? I listen to...
Go.
Okay ba magbanggit ng mga
Go.
Okay.
Academe?
Kasi, ano tawag nito? Curious ako sa pinapakinggan ng mga students ko.
Okay.
So, I asked them what they listen to.
Sino?
So, nakikinig ako ng Cup of Joe. Believe it!
Galing. Multo. Mga gano'n.
Yeah. Gusto ko yung...
Ganda.
Sino ba yung, kalimutan ko na yung singer? Tahanan. Sino kasi Tahanan? El Manu?
San Pedro.
Manu?
No. Gabby San Pedro. May tahanan na gano'n.
Pero may isa din na ang weird ng lyrics. Pero kinakanta ko yung kanibalismo.
Talaga?
Sabi ko, somebody from my generation wouldn't write that lyrics. Pero
kakaiba.
Ano ba ito? Papatay,
Next, I want to ask you, what series or what films have you
recently
seen? Or yung mismong ikaw, yung nagustuhan?
Well, nagustuhan ko yung Everyone Knows Everyone. Congratulations kay Direk. Very collectivist yan, di ba? Very high power distance and particularist. Kasi kaya ako siya nagustuhan. Before that, ang napanood ko yung Adolescence. Ewan ko napanood mo sa Netflix. Di ko alam kung may daya si Direk Alessandra. Kasi yung Adolescence isang tuhog.
Yes.
Ganon di ba yung kay Direk?
Oo. Tininahin niya yun.
Ang galing niyang...
Sa sinihan ko napanood yan. Support ako kay Alex at saka kay Rico.
Yeah, kay Yen.
Yes, oo.
Yeah,
Kasi
ay.
sabi ko, dapat umarte na ulit. No? He's such a very good actor when he was a student.
Oh, I don't know if he still
Okay.
remembers me, but during college sa
Oo.
theater, di ba?
And death in the form of a
Of
rose. How
course.
can you forget?
The last
Which day?
Buti na lang wala pang cellphone noon. Kung hindi,
But,
nasa YouTube sila.
Ito na yung bago. They will remake or redo it for stage next year.
Alaw kaya ang
the
cellphone?
group of
the
Scene
original
Change.
cast.
No, hindi.
No.
Ibago na. So yun. Next. As an artist, and that's a creator now, what haven't you done that you've always wanted to do aside from doing a book?
I want to do, and I would like to declare this sa universe.
Go, let it happen. Make it happen.
A TED Talks.
Good.
Oh, gusto ko.
O yan, Ateneo, I think.
Pero sana lumit na yung tiyan ko by that time. Hindi,
naman,
pero
hindi naman problema
gusto ko yung
yan.
US. Ang yabang parang
Hindi naman problema yan. Ito, last question. Whose work or what work will you drop everything to watch or to like patronize or support?
Content ito.
Content. O pwedeng libro, pwedeng palabas. Yung tipong, kung may gagawin yan, ay, kasi believe na believe ka dun sa tao.
Sa ngayon wala, pero yung dati meron.
Go!
Mike De Leon na di ba, parang drop everything.
Naku, mamaya, pagdating ni Nick, tanungin mo yung last encounter niya kay Mike De Leon.
Bakit?
Kasi isa siya sa mga huling naka-interview
Ay,
at
talaga.
nakausap ni Mike. So,
I think napanood ko lahat ng Mike De Leon.
Talaga?
Yeah.
Okay. Ngayon wala na siya. Sino pa?
Sa bago ngayon,
Actually, our dream is to like showcase up mata to this new generation. Kasi they want to watch it. For me, it's one of the most powerful Filipino films na nagawa. Anyway, sa bago ngayon, yung, magaling siya. Magaling ito.
naku, wala akong kahit foreign, okay lang ba?
Oo. Para malaman lang ng audience yung repertoire mo.
Okay.
Go.
Anong pangalan nito? Tignan mo, sinusundan ko, nakalimutan ko.
Nako, ayan na.
Pero writer siya, author siya, na ang content niya ay ginagawa sa Netflix. Ano ba yung innocent ba yung innocent something like that. Anyway, pero yung iba sinusundan ko, hindi ko maalala.
May memory gap na.
Basta lahat ng series niya sa Netflix pinapanood ko.
About?
Mahilig siya sa mga suspense. Gusto ko yung ganun yung mga may mystery. Oo.
Okay. So, what's next with Ned after this? So, after teaching in Ateneo, and there's Nick Deocampo, we'll welcome him in a while. Yeah.
Alam mo, maganda rin minsan, hindi na mag-isip ng ganyan.
Talaga?
Kasi I am surprised with life.
That's true.
Especially,
And let life surprise you.
alam mo, yung 30 years ko with ABS-CBN, medyo na sanay din ako with predictability.
Yeah, that's true.
Na nung umalis
So
ako,
you're more
kinabahan
open to
ako kasi parang
surprises.
sanay ako na 15-30 of the month may sweldo. Tapos ngayon, wala na akong sweldo. Ayun, ganyan. But I am surprised kasi I never thought na
Makakagawa ng ganito.
nung ginagawa ko ngayon, more of compliance.
You'd like to surprise yourself pa with all
Yes.
things. Okay. Sige.
Di ko nga alam na nagkaroon ako ng US tour of the book.
At magkakaroon pa ng Asian tour na gusto mo.
Di
Now,
ba?
speaking of books, dumating
Oh,
na
yeah.
yung susunod.
Last
Okay,
na lang
go,
pala.
go, go.
I am doing my memoir.
Ayan na agad.
But I
Okay.
want the memoir to be parang proof of concept of the book.
Galing.
Kasi I'd like to test if
Nandun na tayo sa level na
this
yun.
memoir would resonate to Southeast Asia, to other cultures
Ayun na.
as a book. Kasi ang focus ko dyan are video content.
So, dapat
pero actually
practical
applicable din yan sa
application.
books So parang kung gagawin ko yung memoir ko and then mag-resonate siya sa isang Indonesian, meaning to say, nag-work yung framework.
Tama. At
So,
hindi
yun
lang
yung
sa framework. Totoo na. Parang nangyari na.
Yeah.
na
But I'll release that. Tapusin ko muna yung dissertation ko.
Mabuhay muna bago yung memoir.
Oo nga.
Oo.
Mabuhay muna.
Now, makakasama natin next hour someone I believe should be national artist in time.
Oo naman, di ba?
Dito siya, Nick Deocampo will be with us on Level Up next. Ayan na. Oh, Prino Fest.
Excellence, integrity, goodwill. Yeah, we live life with all caps. Lead, pray, love, and give back. Right here with Noel Ferrer. Yeah, we level up. Level up right here with Noel Ferrer. Yeah, we level up. Level up right here with Noel Ferrer. Yeah, we level up.
We will be back in a few, Katipuneros, so please stay tuned.
Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Sa Vlog Blue Eagle kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay at tenista sa loob sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng kwela. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, Katipunero, sugod, todo sa kayon, tulong at tulog. Lipat na Blue Eagle, galing giting nagigil. Blue and white, one big fight. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan.
Mga Katipuneros, it's time to level up! Your talk variety program showcasing the best in media and other fields. As we feature the most loved personalities and the best practices of what we truly refer to as Magis. Together with multi-awarded multimedia guru Mr. Noel Ferrer, let's all level up every Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
Level up.
Level up, dream big, work hard, love lives. Yeah, we level up.
Legaspi. And we're interviewing
Excellence,
someone with a very extensive background as a pioneering filmmaker, a historian, a queer advocate na ngayon. My God, may collection of poems. At yun na nga, parang ang dami-dami pa niyang natuklasan, pati yung isang napaka-old na Filipino film na gusto kong tanungin sa kanya mamaya. Ang sinabi ko kanina, hindi ako magtataka at yun talagang inaasahan kong maging national artist habang nabubuhay tayo. Sir Nick Deocampo. Hello, Sir Nick.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm fine. Oo.
And you were in the Philippine Book Festival.
Yes, I was.
Kumusta? At marami pa rin nagbabasa ng mga Filipino.
Interestingly,
Nakakagulat yun,
at
di ba?
maraming nagsusulat din.
At maraming
No?
nagsusulat.
So yun ang napakagandang development nga bale na despite ng 21st century, ang tawag natin audiovisual culture na tayo.
true.
No?
That's
Pero hindi naman naisasantabi ang print literature. So here I am, even with 4 books as an initial salvo for my poetry.
Net, so ano masasabi mo yun? Na hindi talaga nawawala. Hindi pa although yun nga sa mga dyaryo ngayon, wala na. Di ba? Nasa na lang, online. But now, really, yung resurgence sa daga ng libro.
Yeah, even with my students. Hi, Sir Nick. Hello po.
Yeah.
I'm surprised kasi they prefer The printed.
pages, no? Yeah. At ikaw din, gusto mo sign ka ng mga ganung... diba?
Yung pag-sign niya, it's
Iba
the
pa rin.
icing on the cake. Pero ang maganda with poetry nga bali, may poetry reading pa, no? So it
That's
becomes mas marami, performative ang pwedeng mangyari. And even these poems, actually, basis din siya ng animation ko. So I'm doing from
ayan
documentary,
na.
I'm doing 3D animation, which has never been my specialty or my field, but why not?
So parang talagang at your age. At your age!
Yes! So,
Breaking
blooming
new
pa rin.
grounds.
Blooming pa rin.
So why a collection of poetry, Nick? First
Well,
time. Yung parang, plinano mo talaga.
Hindi. Kasi mahirap sabihin na 50 years ago, and I think it's around this time na mga 50 years ago, I was a student sa UP. Actually, around 1974, 75. Alam mo na, dahil repressed ang upbringing natin in
Diba,
faraway
pinag-usapan
Catholic
din yan,
Iloilo. Diba? So, ang...
Siya tinigil niya yung pagiging atigay. He was a main
Ganun.
talaga impersonator of atigay. In live aids.
Oh
Siya
my
talaga.
God!
Siya talaga.
Okay.
Time ago.
Oo, pero ako fan ni Ate Guy. Pero yun ang bale, yun ang
National
ating
artist.
public. Oo
National
nga.
artist.
Pero yan ang on the outside, no? Patili-tili nga bale. We
That's
did all
true.
those moves. But internally,
So
I was
you were
just
writing
keeping...
poetry.
I was really writing poetry at that time. Alam mo mga English teachers natin, very influential yan,
That's true,
di ba?
that's true.
So, kaya nga bale, I just started keeping them. So, I should have around 150 poems.
Kailan mo, kunyari ito, yung first volume, Ariel and the Grand Design of the Universe. Why Ariel? May Shakespeare reference na agad.
Hindi naman. May Ariel ako nakilala kasi
Yun
sa
pala yun.
Cubao.
Kala ko naman
Oo, somewhere in the
okay.
dark in Cubao. Naalala mo naman nung una, di ba? Sa palibot ng Coliseum na yan. And it's not the Roman Coliseum, pero how you wish it was the Roman Coliseum, di ba? Well, his name was
Sylvia
Ariel.
Plath. Kala ko ay may ganun pang poetic voice. So hindi.
Well, for some who would like to read into it, why not? No? Pero the reference is really more of
What does
something
Ariel
local.
represent sa'yo?
Well, he represents the unattainable because as alam naman natin, hindi mo naman ma-achieve, ma-attain yun, no? Natikman pero hindi makalimutan, hindi ba? Hindi siya makalimutan. And so you resort to, sinusulat siya.
Okay.
Di ba? Ba't ang hirap-hirap ligawan? Ang hirap-hirap
Pero paano mo nirelate sa grand, the immersed scale of the universe?
Kasi diyan naman pumasok yung ating pagbabasa sa metaphysics, yung ating pag-academic siguro, no? So that we think seriously about life. Diba? So ang nangyari you think about your place in the universe and are you two atoms just colliding and must you collide, and yet can never merge, diba? You cannot turn into water like H2O because you are two molecules apart, diba? So so you begin to think about it. This is an act of an overthinking mind, I guess.
But as a historian, you document facts and timelines. But as a poet now, Nick, you explore interior truths.
That's true.
So, paano yon yung shift na yon? So,
ako naman rhizomatic naman ako And when we talk about
the historian
rhizomatic,
and the poet.
very
diba?
bamboo, very
rhizomatic.
damo. Pare, damo tayo, pare. Oo, so yan na nakukuha mo ko may damo, pare. Okay. No, but rhizome is a weed, is a bamboo. So that is the reason why I have 4 volumes, no? At the same time. Kasi nakaano naman yan. Oo, di ba? Nakaseg.
Napanganga si Ned.
May photos
Siya ba si
pa.
Ariel?
Hindi.
So,
hindi
dito,
siya.
Yun nga, it's a collection of both poems and photographs. How do they speak to each other in this volume?
Well, they can be very graphic. I mean, when you talk about, diba?
Ikaw din kumuha.
Ako rin ang kumuha.
Ikaw talaga. So, habang ginagawa mo, talagang, ano yun?
Clarify, habang ginagawa.
Ginagawa mo yung poem.
Hindi, they come after. It's a one afternoon shoot. At I had two models there. One was pumunta ako ng gay bar. Of course, where else do you go? Unang-unang pasok ko sa gay bar nga bali, there was this boy dancing. And my God, the contortions and the movements. Sabi ko, siya na. So pinatawag ko siya. Wala naman siyang kieme kasi nagmo-model naman daw talaga siya sa iba. So ang kaba ko na noon nga bali is magkano kaya ito, di ba?
Anong edad?
He's already in his in his 30s pero looking pabata, di ba? But as you can very well see, siya ang older version, type dito. Then the other one is a UP student na ni-refer na who's really doing modeling as well. So he agreed. Of course, a lot of them are above older.
May ganung modeling pala sa UP.
Oo, naghahanap buhay ang mga bata rin. So ako naman sabi ko, so sabi ko, oh my God. Pero yun na nga, when I asked him, then he has a partner and all that, and I think it's a doctor and also, di ba? So
Pasintabi.
Oo, pasintabi talaga.
So you spent your life working with moving images. So what did the stillness of photography offer you this time?
With motion pictures kasi there is the element of temporality. In other words, my time that has to. So in other words, things have to happen. Whereas in terms of still photography, then you have time to really look at the form, at the figure, and what a form, which is a nude body.
Iba talaga pag na-intellectualize dyan lahat, no?
So from temporality to staticness nga bali, then there's meditation. But you really have no time to meditate on a naked body before you, because first of all, dahil model sila, pumapatak ang metro, so you just talk about 1 hour, na work. So ikaw naman, you have to, at hindi naman kayo pwedeng mag-rehearse earlier kasi babayad ka pa rin, ganun pa rin yun. So the point nga bali is kinunan mo ng picture and everything becomes instantaneous, instinctual na what about you move your ass this way, lift it a little bit, o di kaya, do this little contortion. Like if you see there, I don't want your head to show. I mean the real head, okay? I don't want your head to show, it's just the contour of your shoulders. So in other words, your headless body.
In your earlier documentaries, like Oliver, you gave voice to marginalized figures navigating oppressive systems. Dito sa Ariel, does it continue? So medyo yung parang hindi na nabibigyang boses, binibigyan. Kasi ganun
ang definition ng marginal kasi dun sa film ko is really it has a social realist connotation. Correct. In other words, marginal because they're poor, marginal, economically marginal.
Pero ito, rebelde ka dito ulit.
This is really, if there's such a thing as a gay soul, all right, it's an exploration of a gay being, In other words, may tendency siya to go not so much into a material specificity, but rather what's the emotional contour of a gay affect, of a gay feeling, So ano ako bilang bakla? So it's really more of going into my personality. Although, may mga snatches nga bali.
So
because
ito yung
Ariel,
pinakauna talaga?
Hindi.
Hindi. So hindi
na.
chronological.
Well, hindi yan. So, ang Shards actually is a compilation of the oldest and
so hindi yung una mo nasulat, hindi.
Nandiyan siya, however, yung una kong nasulat, no? Pero not necessarily na kasi trans-historical naman kasi, no? It cuts across time.
Okay. Tapos yung pangalawa, iba
that's
naman.
Really Paris. So Paris is
the Night of the Dragon. So provides a fantastic opportunity to delve into memory, place, and transformation. So, ano namang Nick Deocampo makikita dito?
Kung meron akong Ariel in Manila, meron akong Philippe in Paris, di ba? You know, a boy in every town, a boy, ganon nga balik. So in other words, I met this, I was watching a movie by Marcel Camus called Black Orphée, Black Orpheus. I was a student in Paris. So that was around 1982. 1981-82. And then while I was inside the movie theater, kaunti lang naman kasi ang tao, somebody sat 2 seats away from me.
Ayan na.
And just because the lights were still on his face, and oh my God, I was smitten by his face. So the film started, and so I made this movie silya ko. Hindi ba? So I moved 1 seat closer, pero he was still 1 seat away from me. So sabi ko, oh my God, malayo pa rin siya. So that's it. Sira pa rin yata ang silya ko.
Ganda moves talaga.
Di ba? And when I finally sat beside him, he did not move away or resist or whatever until our elbows touched, and that's where it started. So when the film was finished, of course, I tried to talk to him in English. He was doing his best to speak in English. And from there, we went to a bar, and just drank the night away. And then, unbelievable, because I was at that time in my existentialist phase. Diba? The Camus and the Sartre and the Simone de Beauvoir. And so, unbelievably, that boy was so philosophical. When he talked, it didn't...
At para sa mga hindi nakakaintindi ng English masyado at nakakasalita ng English, nagkaintindihan kayo.
Nagkaintindihan kami, in broken English, but language has a way of bringing people together while misunderstanding them. So we ended up in Pigalle. And then in Pigalle, which is an interesting place in Abale, and it didn't take long until we ended up at Hotel de Bellevue.
Ayun na. So hindi talaga fiction. Hindi pala fiction talaga at all.
No.
So the title is so specific, The Night. This suggests singular transformative event. Can you describe it?
The Rue du Dragon. No, the Rue du Dragon was so this is an amalgam of all these memories. Every time I fly into Paris, then that's when the muse gets
the night of danger, desire.
So Rue du Dragon was a movie was a street where there was a dirty movie theater way back in the pre-AIDS days. 83 wala pa. 83 nang sumabog ang AIDS nga bale, So during that time, the Paris that I had in my mind as somebody growing up in Manila, as a homosexual, yun ang nakita ko ng bale, and that movie theater just shocked me that there's such a place like this.
Pero romanticize yung Paris kasi sa paningin ng maraming tao, But this one gave a real description of
the fear. That's why it's my first surrealist poem. It's a poem that has a lot, the imagery of snakes. Which a snake, as you know, is phallocentric. It can be that, but it can at the same time represent danger. And for somebody who is, I think I was only 26, 27, no, 22, 22, 23, 21, 22 when I was in Paris. And coming from a Catholic family here, a Catholic country, you end up there.
Late bloomer tayo, Ned.
Late bloomer pa ba kayo? Well, 21, I was in Paris. So, that's why, I was caught off guard. Oh my God. It was total liberation for me, to be seeing and to be desired. My God, you walk down Champs-Élysées, and then you get the looks, you get the pinch in your ass, and oh my God, what is this? I was so new to it because dito sa Pilipinas, nobody cared about this scrawny, awkward little boy. And then suddenly you go out there, and suddenly you discover, oh my God, I've got sexuality.
Benta siya. Pero at saka, yung photography mo rin nag-iba. As in, mas poetic.
Oh,
mas,
thank you.
Mas yun,
Yeah,
parang
yeah.
mas inspired.
Right. And it's about the play. So Paris becomes a character in the narrative of that volume.
Okay, next we go to, ayan na, kakaiba naman. Bold intellectual move yung next.
Yeah, because it's an experiment. No? The third volume, Bale. This one, there is no person unlike the first two books, it has a real Ariel and it's a real Philip.
Okay.
All right, and the other one is called Phaedrus.
Yes.
Phaedrus is this young man who.
So ito fiction.
That's pure fiction, and it is very classical Greek. It is the meeting between classical Greek, and then I was playing with the haiku form. Haiku kasi it has only 3 stanzas, and that will be 5-3, 5-7-5. It has that structure. It's very strict, pero I loosened it up and turned it into, it can be 5 stanzas and all that, but still it maintains the structure of 5-7-5 in terms of syllabary. So ang mangyari ngayon ay mininggle ko ang classical Greek with the Eastern Japanese poetic form.
Pero tsaka ito, sabi daw, it presents love as divine madness that can elevate the soul. Why?
Spiritual
pero anong stage ka naman dito at ilang taon ka dito nung sinulat mo?
Well, I should be between my 20s and 30s. So, still burning. So, there's more from where they came from, huh? I have other poems, but
so hindi pa to lahat.
I have 150 poems.
Oh my
It's just
God.
around 80.
Okay.
So I still have what? Another ilan?
Paano to isi-situate dun sa
70 more.
napaka-complicated legacy mo of mentorship, desire, power dynamics in queer relationships, both ngayon at noon?
But being queer is really to be complex. So I'm sick and tired of the movies, for example. And as you can see, I'm into documentary because I really don't like, kahit pa may linubrokan ng mga classic like Tahana Empoy Tahana with Kuring there as this makeup artist, na nafa-flatten ang character natin. And for somebody who grew up as a homosexual at the time of the military regime, I do not really see any reason why we should flatten it. I know that the filmmaker doesn't desire that. Lino had a lot of compromises. Let's be happy with what he was able to achieve. But I want more because I know we can attain more. So ang point ng Abale ay as you can see, transgressive ring ang isang definition of being homosexual.
So it has to be that parang intindihin in all the
in all the complexities, in all its intricacies.
So now the last.
The
Icarus Complex.
The Icarus Complex is...
Ayan naman, deconstructing the myth, di ba?
Absolutely.
So, classic myth of Icarus' fall is a punishment for hubris. So, ito, in your Icarus Complex, is the fall a tragedy, a failure, or is it a moment of ultimate ecstatic liberation?
Absolutely. It's liberation, no? I mean, it's liberating to see finally that after, when Icarus is actually drowning in that sea, then he sees his father flying above him and looking at him, but in the end, the father flies away. But during the time, the father's shadow is upon him, and for the father to be away, and Icarus, no matter if he's left in that wide ocean nga Bali, at least he is on his own. And whether he dies, with knowing exactly who he is. So in the end, it's a liberation. But it's more complex than that.
That's true. But you frame it as complex, suggesting a recurring psychological pattern.
It is. Because it has hints of incest, actually. So it's pretty dark. Not that something happened between me and my father. In fact, it's the reverse. Was it me? And that's why this is a a big question.
Okay,
Is it
okay.
the child who is lusting after the father, and the
Okay.
father repudiates and does not
Yes,
respond?
yes.
So, as I said, homosexuality can be very complex.
That's
And when
true.
we talk about complex, it's not just psychological complexity, but this sexual ambivalence and ambiguity that, what is it? And I think very primal sa bakla yung relationship niya with the father. Ano bang relationship ko sa tatay ko?
Naku, si Ned, talagang
Ned, magsalita ka.
At sobrang nirespeto, di ba? Kasi give up niya yung pagiging impersonator niya ni Ate Guy. Kasi yung dad niya, naging active sa church.
There you go.
Ayan na.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pero personal ko naman yun.
Everything,
My,
yes.
my father did that, asked me to diba, stop it. But it was my personal choice na rin.
So crucial yun.
Crucial yun. And the father figure kasi, let's not stop with the biological father, no?
marami.
So, ibig sabihin ay, there's the God the Father, there's God the military, God the teacher, God the, all these God
figures,
characters.
the father figures.
The father figures all around us. And in that film, there is always a slaying of the father, So, in other words, there's acts of murder, there's incest. It's really,
doon
it's a
mo
confession.
dinadala.
Doon dinala. But you
Kung
see,
saan complex talaga.
may avatar ka. Icarus is an avatar for me. That and you play God actually, because you've got characters who can live out the guilt, who can live out the crime without you necessarily doing it, but rather this is what art is all about,
I
diba?
wrote this down para sa part na to. As a historian of Philippine cinema, you've chronicled many stories of artists who were punished for their transgressions. Is this one, the Icarus Complex, a tribute to those who dared fly too close to the sun in their art and in their lives? So, anong statement mo dito?
Napalunok ako sa iyo because that is such an insightful look, no? So that Icarus actually becomes symbolic of all of these artists, of all of these soldiers, of all of the culture warriors that we have always tried. Of course, it's almost like a cliche. Bali, we grew up with that. But I think I create a new perspective because we've always been told, and since high school, when we took up Greek literature, bali, lalo pa with my professor here, Thelma Arambolo, professor, all right, in UP, who taught us once again the Greek classics, close reading, then we know exactly that yung Icarus, Daedalus archetype na bale just stuck in my mind and became material for my poetry.
So, after reading your poetry, ano yung gusto mong maramdaman ng mga tao na parang takeaway nila?
That being gay is one complex, and by being complex means looking at the fragmentation of the character, that we are not simple. We cannot just be seen as somebody sashaying down the street. We are not the laughing stock on television. That
That's
we are
true.
more complex than anything. Yung panel nga dun sa book fair, ng closing remark about it, everybody started talking about, I'd like to write happy situations about homosexuality. So I was the last one. I said, maybe I represent the dark figure here.
Or yung totoo lang.
So, yung totoo lang, please, ha? I mean, I don't know where you're
Or
coming
the range.
from. The range, at the very least. So here you are, them talking about, I want characters who are happy so that my readers will be happy.
That's true.
No, my books represent something else, and that would be, I'm not saying that everything is so dark, but in throwing light into that darkness, I think you will be able to illuminate, the hardships and the difficulties that we as homosexuals go through.
Galing. Ned, my questions before we go to the other side, the other things that Nick is parang putting himself into. Iba.
Yeah, siguro on the Paris.
Okay.
Go.
Because I speak French also.
Oh,
Yeah. So I'm kind of interested. The cultural yung mga French, hindi ba siya naging hindrance? Because I know, especially during that time, di ba, they had a reputation of being snobbish.
Oh, they
so
are.
that
They still are.
that scene sa Cine was that kumbaga
No,
the
what-
sexuality was more kumbaga mas higit than the cultural
One thing that I was not able to tell you is that Philippe was a black boy, was a black guy.
iba rin.
So he is a hybrid, a crossbreed between a white French parent and a black, I think a black father. So in other words, the global South alignment
Iba rin.
happened.
Yeah, meron, oo.
Because if it's French, I knew I had them. All right.
Yeah,
I had them in those dirty movie houses. I'm being honest. I mean, come on. I was young. I was hot. I just came from. It was my first country to go into. So I got a scholarship to study there. And so weekends, what do you do, diba? So the point about it is, I agree with you that I didn't have relationships with white guys, even in New York. All right. New York, maybe I had one, but my point is, even in New York, the one that I had intense relationship was a crossbreed between Brazilian, Chinese, American crossbreed, So, mas may lasa ang may kulay. All right. The white man, I agree with you. There's a cultural detachment, distance. So I don't like that. So you know exactly that maybe if you like each other, it is very much on the skin level. But with somebody... Oh, yeah. So
But sabi nila, when you go black or when you go person of color, hindi ka nababalik sa iba.
Oh, I don't know, but see, I got stuck with Philippe. I mean, he never, he never, he never left my mind.
Okay.
So he's black.
So book 2 is actually Philip.
It's Philippe all the way.
diba?
It's all about. So
Nasaan na siya ngayon?
No, that's a very good. Everybody's asking me, even ang embassy natin sa
Hinanap kaya to siya ngayon.
pag nagkukwentuhan ganon. Okay, and that's why I'm looking for him in the subway, in the bus stops,
Ang ganda
in
naman
the in Tuileries, in the park and all that. So here's the interesting thing.
Filmmaker talaga.
The last time I was in Paris and I was going home, I took the train going to the airport. Who would come in? But really, a lot of people would come in, and who would sit in front of me? When I lifted my eyes and looked at the guy, I was almost about to scream, "Philippe, is that you?"
Oh.
I knew it was, but I pinched myself, sabi ko na, it cannot be. At ang nangyaring abali, kasi cramped ang mga trains na ganyan, your feet would rub at each other. So it was not the elbows rubbing inside that movie theater, but now our tuhod. Very cinematic and all that. And all the time I said, let it be you, Philip, let it be you. Because the hair, the body build, everything, I really knew and I was convinced. It was Philippe. Then one stop away from the Charles de Gaulle, all right, where everybody else got off the train. Then he left and it was adieu. Diba? Adieu, Philippe.
So yun pala, so ikaw si Bona, siya si Philippe.
Ibang Philippe ito. I would gladly do the same. At bubuhusan ko rin siya ng mainit na tubig. Hayop ka. All these years. It's 40 years of emotional, diba?
Pero hindi siya mawala sa isip mo.
Hindi.
Meron talagang
Hindi.
tribute, no?
talaga.
Memorialization din yung poetry, no? You memorialize that, But what is left? I mean, many of the emotions we have naman abali come and go, eh. So in the end, in this life, as you look back, and I'm getting old, I'm 67, you look back, and then you pick out those that you really feel. No, even if the emotions actually stung you.
That's true. Okay. Another thing. You've recently discovered an old Filipino film.
Oh, yes.
Can you share the story behind finding the oldest Filipino film?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Abroad? Such a feat.
Such a feat, absolutely. So, every time I go to film festivals or anywhere that I go ng abali, I usually leave behind. Well, I go to archives, libraries, and museums. And
Paano ka napadpad doon?
Paano napadpad?
Tinawag ka lang ng pagkakataon? Galing.
Hindi, ganito, nasa book fair ako sa Frankfurt.
Okay.
Alright, and in that book fair nga bale, I was determined to really
So hindi ka kasama sa mga nag-boycott?
too late kasi the tickets were bought, the contracts were signed a year before the Palestine thing happened. So that's it. You just have to ride the wave. So anyway, ang nangyari was I really on my own, without any help from anybody in Abale, on my own, I really decided and booked myself in all the festivals I can possibly do. So kasi way back in the 80s, if you may know, while Lino Broca was making ikot around the world, Raymond Red and I, were also traveling. But anyway, to cut it short, Abale, from Frankfurt I went to Berlin, where I did a poetry book launch of this 4 poems. So it was in Berlin where the poetry book was launched.
So then America, Berlin.
Then I had 10 days before I could go to Barcelona to launch naman my Spanish book. But anyway, so within the 10 days, sabi ko, ano gagawin ko? So I got in touch with somebody from Brussels, and then I told her, sabi ko, subukan mo nga, dahil marunong ka todo ang French mo, you married a French guy, tanungin mo nga dyan kung may pelikula sila, just pangulit lang. And then she came back sa akin naman. She said, Nick, mukhang meron daw silang pelikula, but basta it's Asia. So sabi, it was enough for me to really buy my ticket, and you know how much it would cost to buy a ticket from Brussels later on to Barcelona, so all of that, and then of course the hotel that you have to stay in. So gastos lahat yan. But anyway, with the 10 days, I hate being tourist lang. Pumunta na ako doon, and on the second day, binook na kami. On the second day, we're able to enter na the Cinémathèque, the Cinémathèque Royale du Belgique. And so right before us was the roll of film. And then when it started rolling, when I saw Rogelio de la Rosa, tapos na ang boxing, sabi ko, we found the film.
Ang galing.
And it is the 90th year of its production this year, kasi 1936, 2026, so that's 90 years.
So,
pre-war.
Ano yung
It is pre-war, and only 5.
Okay. Now that you found it.
So right now, the Cinémathèque has given the right to our Philippine Film Archive to restore and to preserve. All right. Okay. So it's being digitized. We hope we could the film could be screened for the Heritage Month, and definitely we'll get in touch with you, help us promote. No, that's May.
May
So
pa.
Metropolitan Theater ito.
Game.
Oo.
Tapos yun pa, with Joy, I know you're close rin kay Joy, di ba yung UNESCO, ganyan City of Film?
But
pwede rin, di ba?
But I'm chairman of UNESCO Memory of the World, di ba? So, hindi pwedeng tawaran, di ba? Mas may right kami kasi document yun, and I was the one who discovered. So, I'm nominating the film actually to the Memory of the World. Ang Memory of the World dyan, Abali, ang mga nakapasok na dyan is yung tape recordings natin of the People's Power Revolution, yung Manuel Quezon Library, yung Palawan Paleograph. So, I would like to...
Ano pakiramdam when you finally found it?
Nakakapanginig because, oh my God, we have lost the films of, it was produced by Jose Nepomuceno, the so-called father of Philippine cinema. No trace of his films at all, and then suddenly you find a film that he produced. He did not direct it, but still, hindi pwedeng tawaran ang director because the director is Carlos Vander Tolosa, the same director who made the Giliw Ko first film by LVN and Bituing Marikit of Sampaguita. And so these are legendary figures. And suddenly, we find one of the only 6 films that ever survived World War II. So if that's not what pride is, I don't know what is.
So, you're writing about it? Parang what?
Ako pa. It's a scoop, di ba?
Yeah, of course.
It's a scoop. But it's part of the early cinema, a forgotten chapter actually of Philippine cinema.
Kasi meron siyang libro kasi Lost Films.
Yes.
Pero ito na naman, di ba?
Ito na naman. But let me just tell you that I have a list of around 100 titles of films, pero not all of them are fiction films. Many of them are newsreels and documentaries. But why not? These are the true images of the Philippines more than the fiction fiction films. So mas mahalaga ito for anthropology, for social sciences, more than the fiction films which are, why are they fabricated? And in fact, there's a lot of misreading of Filipino culture in films like Diwata. And, if some people may not know, I was also the one who found Zamboanga, considered for 20 years as the oldest Filipino film when I found it at the Library of Congress.
So ikaw talaga
in 2004.
nakakahanap ng mga matatandang mga
Ang problema, because I'm a historian, so ang radar ko talaga, my nose is sniffing all of this abali. And I know where Burlesque Queen is, but can I take it home? Ay, wala. No, we're talking about the film mismo. So, Burlesque Queen, and I love that film. I really love that film.
Kumanta ka pa nga nandito ba?
So, ang point na bali ay, maiuwi ba natin? So, as I said, kahit pa kumakatok ako
kahit
sa...
may political will, yung kunyari, gobyerno to like...
That's it, yan ang point nga bali. I don't want to...
classic yung alam mo na kung nasaan?
I strongly suspect there's an... sige na nga, I really don't care na kung sinong mauna sa atin, sa akin. I strongly suspect the places are, one, in Spain, and therefore I'm leaving again this year. Because now that I'm retired from UP, I'm using my retirement money. So nagtatanong siguro ang iba dyan na, wow ha, 3 months ka in Europe, ang dami mo sigurong pera on your own, pinangangalandakan mo pa on your own, para makonsyensya ang lahat dito na, my God, hindi sa pinagmamalakang mayaman, wala akong pera. That is my retirement money. Na hindi ko naman, na dapat private funds ko yan, di ba? But I'm using it for, So ang point nga bali is, Spain is my biggest bet na may mga Filipino films ando doon. My second bet is Mexico, because there was film trade.
Ang dami ring may ibang pakay sa Mexico. Although marami ng Pinoy pumupunta sa Spain.
Oo, alam na ng embahada natin doon na I'm on the lookout. So sabi ko, I don't care kung mauuna kayong makahanap niya. I don't care anymore kung sino sa atin na mauna. Just bring it home. Alright? Maiuwi natin yan. Because
hindi si tatay yan, ha?
Hindi.
Don't bring it home.
Huwag siya.
But what's the story? Paano nakapunta ng Brussels?
Good question. Okay, so paano napunta ng Brussels? First of all, it was shown here in 1936. It was bought by a Frenchman in 1939, brought to Paris, and in Paris, you see, wala pang intellectual property laws at that time. Therefore, when you purchase a film, you don't purchase, like now, you only purchase the screening rights. You do not purchase the material film. And when we talk about that, we are really talking about the one and only negative, unless magpapagawa ng internegative. So you keep the old negative and you have a new one. But nothing like that. So ang nangyari noon was you buy the physical film and take it out of that country. So the negatives went to Paris, and it doesn't stop there. Pagdating pa doon, because now it is their physical property, they can do anything they want. They jumbled it up. They turned it into a melodrama into a musical. They erased the names of the people who work there and changed it with their French names. Unbelievable. This is called piracy. This is called poaching, intellectual poaching. It's a cultural erasure. No? It's a cultural erasure because it is an erasure because nobody would believe that there's filmmaking and there's a film culture in a faraway country like the Philippines. In fact, the Philippines, in one of the documents, was labeled as Malaysia. So there's so much to correct. There's so much to So, okay, but still, the film is in Paris. Still, it is in Paris. Alright? So, ang nangyari was...
In what condition?
Lumabas sa mga dyaryo. I went all the way to the Bibliothèque Nationale de France. It's not easy to get in there, but I was able to do my research, and I was gifted with a lot of wonderful documents, primary sources, and I found out there that the film, in one of the advertisements, the film was shown in Brussels and in South America. See, the suspicion I have, unti-unti, South America was tumawid talaga. But the point is, nag-connect na ngayon kung bakit may pelikula sa Brussels, because in that advertisement, sinabi, it was shown in Belgium.
Okay.
Now, that explains the copy that I found. So, nag-connect na. I was in Paris at the Bibliothèque Nationale after Brussels.
Okay.
Nahanap ko muna ang pelikula, and now I found an affirmation, a validation in Paris that, look, that's the connection. Kaya nakarating doon. So, the film was kept in a film laboratory that closed down in 2016. And by law, just like in the Philippines, by law, any laboratory, any film agency that closes down, all the material should be deposited to the Cinémathèque Royale, to the Belgian Royal Archive. And that's how they got a copy.
Okay.
But since 2016 up to the 2026, a good 10 years.
10 years.
They did not know at the archive. They didn't know the value of this film. When I told them that this is a lost man, one of the pre-war, then it's a big celebration. In fact, when that is done, I would like. We are going to invite.
Tayo dapat makapanood, no?
Diba? Yeah, that's the first step. So, ang mangyari, the physical donation from the Cinematheque will be done by this Bruno Mesda. He's the guy who, and the Belgian embassy here. So, the Belgian embassy got in touch with me and said, you did a marvelous job. We would like to honor it because it's also the 80th anniversary of the Belgian-Philippine relations with the 90 years of the film that I found. So, it's a double celebration.
So,
But what do we... sorry.
Yeah, go.
What do we see? Is it the corrected film or yung credits niya mga French?
Yung napanood mo pala
what we are going to see is the mangled version. That's why my mission is, and I did make a breakthrough lately because a very important scholar, French scholar in Paris, gifted me by buying a copy of what is called the film complete. A film complete is like a summary. It's a re-narration of what happens in the film. And because it's still in French, I'm having it translated. So the point now is, will I be able to see in it a different storyline than the one that is in the film? And therefore, if there will be a chance to reconstruct the film that we have now, we have a basis on how we can construct it. Diba?
With that
film complete retelling of the story.
So it needs pa editing and parang yun.
Absolutely. A lot of work, really. So, just to answer again the question.
Is the government supporting you with this?
Which government? Diba? We have a government? Alright. Yan na. Well, calling the First Lady, sana, kung ano natin. That's why I'm making little moves. Let's have it premiered. Baka pwedeng mag-cut ng ribbon ang ating mga illustrious film leaders. And commit to it. I love it.
Ang galing. Next. You're Mike De Leon. He was the last person na makausap at pinayagan talaga, di ba?
Pinayagan, unbelievable. Alam natin ang legendary temperament ni Mike.
How did meet him in Baguio? In Baguio, no?
Oo, in Baguio.
Sa bahay kung saan sinut ang
kumangarap
at magising at citizenship.
Okay. But earlier than that, in 2023, I made my move, because I was going to teach the semiotics in Mike De Leon's films, di ba? Audacious, nagtuturo ako sa mga esoteric na mga courses din sa UP. I was introducing semiotics or the science of signs, and I saw that in the film of Mike De Leon.
Correct.
I used that as an occasion also to really go deeply into the films of Mike. And so naglakas loob ako, nakita ko naman yung kanyang email, sinulatan ko siya. At tinanong na, Mike, I'm having a class on about your films and I'd like to know more. I would like to validate some of the thoughts that I have, etc. And so he agreed. Sabi niya, the only thing is we should do the interview at Noel Ferrer and there should be a toilet nearby. And then he said, he's very sick.
Yeah.
So, okay, yes, Mike, I respect that. We will do that. And sabi ko, sir, 1 hour lang actually yung 1 hour. Okay, so those were the givens. So we met. Finally, he arrived. Of course, I was there 30 minutes early because,
Siyempre.
So anyway, out of respect and all that, finally...
Documented, as in...
No, and another thing pala, no videos, please. Yes,
so
you can record, but no video.
Okay.
So I was thinking, ano na kayang itsura niya, etc., etc. So
Ayos.
the very fact na no videos, then nang dumating, maayos naman, ba? 2023 ha,
Yeah.
maayos naman. Nang pumunta doon, shake hands, umupo na, interview. Everybody left the room, kami na lang naiwan. The toilet is nearby, all right? And then, nag 1 hour na, ang sarap pa rin ng usapan namin.
Pero inalaw yung audio.
Audio lang ang inalaw sa akin. But please, no secret video, no nothing. Oh, sabi ko, yes, Mike, I respect that and nobody. And that's why everybody had to step out. Nag 1 hour na, sabi ko, Mike, just to let you know ha, 1 hour na tayo. Sige lang, tuloy mo lang.
Okay.
So, tuloy kami nag 30 minutes, nag 2 hours na kami. He has not even stood up and went to the toilet.
Okay.
You know, he just went. He was so engaged. He was so engaged with the talk. So that finished. I had some materials to use from my class.
Oh, ayan na nga. Yung
And then the second
Semiotics project mo sa UP. Ano? Ayan na yung
isang chapter yun. Isang chapter sa Semiotics.
Oh, yun, diba?
Tama ka.
Okay,
So,
okay.
then the other one was in 2024,
Ayan na, sa Baguio.
the year after, then nasa Baguio ako. It was, I was there June 2 to June 5. My birthday was on June 4. So, June 2 pa lang, sinabi ko lang, nalaman ko na nandoon siya sa Baguio. So, June 2, when I arrived, minime ko lang. Sabi ko, Mike, andito ako sa Baguio. It might be nice to see you. It's, punta ka, daan ka lang dito. Okay. So, eto na. Sabi niya, June 4. Hindi ko naman sinabi na birthday ko, di ba? Basta lang. So, sabi niya, punta ka dito. I cleared my schedule and then went to his house. And when I went to his house, it took a while bago ko siya makita. And from one of the rooms, may lumabas, really very frail na.
Yeah,
No? I mean,
yeah.
really... Ibang-iba, bagsak ang mukha, etc. And then, inaalayan na siya.
Yes.
So, of course, hindi ko pinaalam, you know how I felt, but that's it. He sat again.
At kayo with all yung mga sofa doon na ang lalaki, di ba?
I know, ang lalaki. I have a photograph of it.
Yes.
So, ang nangyari doon, doon siya, andito na ako, and then, nag 2 hours na naman. In fact, I clocked it 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Oh my God.
No standing. Ako pa ang nag-request, Mike, pa-CR lang muna. Ako pa ang sumuko. Ako ang sumuko. Mike,
Hindi na ito recorded. Wala nang audio recording itong
may audio
Baguio.
recording ito.
Meron pa rin.
And what was it about?
Okay. Magkaiba ang dalawa. Ang una was really about his career, about his life, about the semiotics of his films. The knife in Batch 81, di ba? Yung knife na nakaganyan ng kamay. What did you think about it, etc. Right? I mean, what was behind it? The patriarchy, the house, the symbol of the house in Kisapmata, and all those. All right. Again, clear ako sa aking interview sa kanya. It's always semiotics about imagery palagi. So focused ako palagi on that. Then the second one,
personal.
Was my interest in my most favorite film of his, which was Bayaning Third World.
Really?
Because that is such a complex film that it needs to be untangled and unpacked.
That's true.
And he gladly talked to me about that. And when he returned to Manila, you know what gift he gave me? Unbelievable gift. I feel I'm the richest scholar siguro na binigyan ng ganito because he gave me his entire documentation.
Collection. My God.
Bayaning Third World, all his researches from Spain, from everywhere.
Ay, ang galing.
And behind the scenes of when he was shooting Aga Mulak pa lang.
Yun na nga, I wanna ask, bakit hindi natuloy yung Aga? Did you ask him?
Dalawa, hindi lang si Aga, may isa pa. Ang isa doon, may isa pa na artista pa. Pero hindi binasa nito, winockout, finar niya. Pero si Aga, nag-shoot talaga sila. In the end, he just realized Aga is not it.
Okay.
Na-realize na lang talaga that, hindi ito, he's too mestizo, it's not convincing. So,
pero nandun yung stills and all the documentation.
No, not only the videos. The entire video, everything.
So you can come up with a book with that.
Books. I can come up with books.
Tatapos ba yun, yung aga?
Hindi.
Pinack up niya. Despite all the expenses, pinack up. Inano niya.
Yeah, alam ko may mga publicity na nun.
Ito na ask also. After kasi Citizen Jake, si Charo and Mike were talking about another film. Did he tell you about it? Hindi na. So, Mike wanted a full-length film pa rin sana with Charo, supposedly. Tapos nun, pero sabi ni Charo, mas realistic yata, Mike, with your condition, short film na lang. Kasi he started with short films.
Of course,
diba? So,
yes.
may plano pa ba siyang gumawa after Citizen Jake? Did he tell you?
May mga hints pero we didn't go into that kasi ako...
Nung una sabi, Pony Boy, the story of the Pony Boy.
No, sa akin naman, Bali, is that, no, I'm very focused kasi I cut out things that I know that may just be speculative.
That's true.
Kasi
That's true.
limited ang time ko. Ako, I'm always targeting 1 hour lang mga pag-uusapan namin and I need to pack all the questions that I want to ask from him.
Okay.
So here's the interesting thing. The French film distributor, Vincent Paul Boncourt, is arriving this Saturday for the Macho Dancer because he is also the distributor of Lino Broca's Macho Dancer and Bona nga.
Okay.
And so we are now talking, he's very interested in the interviews because alam mo naman, it's a tradition in Europe, yung mga interviews with Fellini, interviews with Truffaut. Ano sila niyan eh, that's a big market for them.
Yes.
So when he found out I have 2 interviews with Mike, nagkadarapa na siya. Sabi niya, Nick, I'm really interested. So we're going to talk about it. So pina-transcribe ko na, pina-edit ko na, nilaslas ko na yung... Alam mo yung mga kwentuhan, kung minsan may pa-impress ako kay Mike. I have to... Ano bang semiotics, Nick? So it's a 10-minute lecture. It's a 10-minute... Oo, nakaganyan naman siya. Nakikinig naman. He's very respectful. You know, he's very respectful. Kasi pwedeng ang iba dyan, he'll just stand there. I'm sorry, I'm bored, you know, or he's sick, or whatever. But
pero gusto
he'll listen.
He wants to learn, yes.
He wants to learn. So, if he doesn't know it, he stops you, sandali. Ano ba semiotics? Di ba? Ano ba ang indexical? Alam mo namang lola mo, profesora. Nag-lecture ako agad. So, gano'n. So, sabi ko dun sa final, pinatanggal ko na lahat yung may mga pa-lecture. At diretso na lang kami dun sa, you know.
So, may footnote siya sa lahat ng mga significant films.
What do you mean?
Yun, kunyari, meron siyang mga kwento, meron siyang mga dagdag.
We didn't go to all. Hindi ko na tinatch ang pangarap. Ako, I focused on, Bayani Third Wheel is top on my list. And then Kisap Mata. And then Batch 81. Those are the 3, I think.
Ikaw, 3 Mike De Leon films na...
Ako gusto ko yung Itim.
Talaga?
Yeah, gusto ko yung Itim. Kisap Mata at saka Kung Mangarap Ka't Magising.
Ako rin yun Kisap Mata, Batch 81, which is really very, very important. Plus yun, dadagdag ko Aliwan Paradise. Actually, kakaiba rin yun.
Of course.
Iba rin. Did you talk about it?
No. Hindi na namin, I should have, no? Because it's a short film.
So, ano yung result niyan? So, that, kukunin ng French, probably a documentary on Mike De Leon. What else?
Oh, we don't know about that. Pero maganda yun, di ba? Libro, definitely.
Ilan?
Yeah.
A series?
No, for one thing, ako, naisip ko talaga it's a double book for Mike De Leon. It's for the first interview and the other one, just a focus on Bayaning Third World. So that's one, no? Then you can add as a third volume doon nga bali, interviews with Mike De Leon.
Okay, So, anong legacy niya, Nick?
Well, Mike?
Oo. Kasi feeling ko hindi pa siya nabibigyan ng ganong pagpapahalaga after niya mamatay.
Wait until my book on him comes out.
Ayun na pala.
So oh my God, Mike De Leon is a class unto himself. If I make a claim, and I'm sorry, I'm very much into semiotics because ano ba ang tools natin in understanding Philippine cinema? Tama na itong, di ba? I mean, social realism is, it only can give so much, but how do we really understand a film materially? Kasi I'm very materialist when I look at this. So, Mike De Leon has the best understanding of what a film form is, but it doesn't mean that it's just formalistic, but rather form very much equates to his own substance, and that's proven in all of his films. So in other words, he should be canonical, and that's why I hope that my books will help in that, in making him more canonical, in the sense that ka-level niya talaga, Broca and Bernal. These are my two, bali. And
At Dick
the third.
Deocampo.
Yun naman. Sila yung sa the
Iba pa
movie
yung Eddie
industry.
Romero.
Eddie Romero comes. Ang problema kay Eddie nga, bali, with the exception of his trilogy, which ngayon, informal, kami ang gumagawa niya na, yung ganito kami noon, Kamakalawa, which is before the birth of the nation, ganito kami noon, which is the birth of the nation, and Aguila after we became a nation. It's a beautiful trilogy. Pero uneven din, but Lino Broca is also uneven sa career niya.
Yes. Pero ito, well, regarding your Edu Cine Semiotics project na soon, what is the core idea that you want to impart to this new generation of filmmakers and film lovers through this educational initiative?
Let's really define what cinema is, kasi hindi malinaw. In the same way sa literature, ang linaw na, ang layo niya na from the main issue of narrative, into very postmodern approaches in literature. Ang nangyari sa pelikula, we're caught still in the 50s discourse bali of having literature to interpret film. So we're very literary rather than cinematic. So this book, I would like to claim, will be the one that will open our eyes and open a new chapter for the cinematic in Philippine cinema. And here, crucial will be Lino Broca, Ismael Bernal, and Mike De Leon, and Eddie Romero, and a very few others.
And the world will look at us. Hindi lang yun yan, di ba? Parang sinasabi ko yun sa Star Cinema daw, family. Nothing wrong with that. Pero parang iba when the world looks
the
at
wonderful thing about this is that I'm the first with a book with a film book that's been translated to French and to German, right? Which will be launched on Monday as well. So, Un Traversé du Cinema Philippine, no? And the point here is that the reviews that came in, coming no less from the Cahiers du Cinema, the most respected critics group in the world of film, the reviews are really very positive. So sinasabi na nga nila bali that now finally, we really get to understand Philippine cinema because I'm speaking their language. I mean, very postmodern sila, very post-structuralist. And I was afraid, semiotics, that's exactly the language I was using. And that is their language. That is the Barthes, that is the Deleuze, that is the Foucault.
At hindi pwede talagang i-simplify.
Hindi.
Parang with all the complexity.
Now, they say exactly, now we see the complexity. Beyond the red carpet walks natin sa Cannes, wherein, nauna na ang mga Taiwanese dyan sa likod natin, ang mga Thais and all that. And still, Philippine cinema is still not known in Europe, but with the book. So, I'm having a separate track. Against our hindi katulad ng government natin na they have so much money, they want the glitz and the spectacle. No, publish a book. Let's make a headway into the academic and film community.
Generations, long after we're gone, pinag-aaralan ka pa rin.
That's right.
And now people are talking about you as a future national artist.
Oh, please.
How do you feel about that?
End of the conversation, please.
Wag. How do you hope your ultimate legacy will be in the landscape of Filipino
never think
film?
about that. No, let's just talk about the work that needs to be done.
That's true.
If that becomes definitive of what is... Ako, I have questions. What is an artist? What is national? Diba? So in other words, what is an artist? It's work.
Yeah.
Being national, it's more than just a claim. So my point nga bali is, ang daming pwedeng gawin. Our film libraries are empty of films that we have. Our discourses are caught up in the 50s literary.
Trabahuhin na yan more than the
Oo, kaya ako nakita niyo man it's really into book writing, into things that really matter. Oo, kaya I respect people who write books. And so we are not negating print, as our channel to do things. But anyway, Philippine cinema needs all the help it can get. If it needs a national artist in order to do that, is a new category of culture warriors, then let us all be. Then let us all be national artists. Kung yan bang bagong pangalan sa mga nagtatrabaho sa
cultural warriors.
That's right.
Pero ito, given the situation now, we're in a crisis. Kahit in denial pa yung ibang tao sa gobyerno na not we have enough supply of fuel, etc. What is it in you that keeps on like prodding or promoting yung pagka-Pilipino? What is there to be proud about our culture still?
For me, I approach it as a historian because we've got history. And that history rests on my shoulders, no? On my back, bale. And it is that thing that won't make you sleep overnight.
That's
I mean,
true.
so for example, when I'm writing, I am just so surprised. Like what I was doing kanina, things just flow. Sabi
That's
ko,
true.
sino itong, kung minsan nagsa-step back ka
Totoo.
and then just begin to
Parang
think
kang sinapian, di ba?
Sapi is really our local indigenous way of looking at it, and we need to problematize it. Let's leave it to the anthropologists. But the point is, it's a phenomenon that happens. Nasabi ko saan ito? Carl Jung called it the collective unconscious. They have so many words for it.
It's there.
So it is
It
that
just flows.
spirit. I mean, Hegel would look at it, Spinoza would look at it as the spirit with a capital S. So in other words, we are all working after those forces that are
I know.
above and bigger than us.
Parang flow yata
It's a flow.
si Sheikh Sent Me High, di ba? May ganun sa psychology. But yeah, I think Sapi captures, that kind of engagement with,
Pero lumalabas yung pagka-Pinoy natin during crisis situations like this. So parang, saan tayo pwede kumapit? Just to be, now, in relevant ngayong mga panahong ito and to situate our discourse sa mga nangyayari ngayon, ano yung saysay ng isang historian, ng isang artist, ng mga educators?
Ako talaga, ang nakikita ako, ang kakapitan is, the notion of struggle.
At sanay tayo dyan. At parang,
ang tanong ay dapat ba nating sanayin, etc. My
That's
point
true
lang here,
also,
Bali, is si Renato Constantino, UP historian, nationalist historian, yun talaga ang kanyang pamamaraan sa pagtingin kung sino ba at paano ba maging Pilipino. That we were born really in times of struggle. And that's where we always find our definition as a people. Kasi hindi mo naman matawaran talaga talagang produkto the Filipino is really a product of that struggle against colonialism, and that can apply to the global south. So the Palestinians, we're not unique. The Palestinians are suffering it now. Have we really gone beyond it? Not really, but nagdanaknak pa rin yung trauma. So mahalaga talaga na i-psychoanalyze natin yung kultura na, I mean, this could sound Western ways of treating our subject nga bale, but these are tools too. Kaya ako nag-iimbento ako sa ngayon, paraan ng pagtingin is napakahalagang concept. In other words, what lens are we using? So I'm now going into the mangrove. The mangrove exists in littoral estuary spaces wherein pag nakita mo, it's between water and land. Nang dumating ang mga colonizers, they came by water, they landed on our land, and usually all of our cities and our civilizations actually started in estuaries. Di ba? Ang Tondo, ang Escolta na yan is a mangrovian estuary.
At sana makita mo si Felipe.
At sana.
Doon tayo mag-mangrove. Sa mangrove, di ba? At may bagong tula, at may bagong pelikulang mabubuo.
Ang problema ay, kung magkasama sila ni Ariel.
Pero may gusto kong yabon, but walang courage to, di ba? Kasi merong suspicion na or kutob na si Philip yata ito. But walang courage to say, Philip?
It's the Filipina in me.
yung kinabahan. Umalis na tuloy yung next train stop.
But maybe to give sense to it is that you never want to know. You never want to know the truth. No, because the thing is, reality destroys fiction din eh. So let him remain as fiction in my mind, as a myth in my mind. Kasi kung siya yun,
yung sining, di ba?
It's in the absence, it's in that, and which is what Ariel is all about. That the physical body is there, but it is the absence that makes you live.
Pag lahat tayo yung wala nang nananing. So where can people get a copy of your book?
And can they buy it per book or
Ayun, nasasagutin mo yan, or
bundle?
Pero sabihin mo lahat na para makita nyo si Ariel, si Philip, at yung iba pa.
Si Phaedrus at si Icarus. Uy, 4 pala sila. Ang dami kong lalaki sa buhay. Dapat ang mga lalaki sa buhay. Pelikula yun
Si Celia
I'd
naman
like to know also, is there parang common thread sa 4 or independent?
It's Nick Deocampo.
Last. Pagnanasa. Anyway, you can buy it individually.
Kasi Desire, di ba?
Oo, Desire. Correct. Central Books is the publisher, so they have a website. I don't know which bookstores,
Lazada.
most possibly Shopee and Lazada. But I'm going to launch the book collection on March 23. That's Monday at 4 o'clock at the Cine Adarma in UP.
With a showing of...
With the showing of Lino Brocas, Macho Dancer.
Na nasabi daw ay ang integral form.
Integral form, titingnan natin. I have not,
Kasi wala naman, not under censorship.
Yeah. No, I'm beginning to find out about because I was the programmer of Pelikula Lipunan when that was shown, right? So ang point ko Bali is mahalagang pag-usapan ito sa Talkback with Ricky Lee Bali and Vincent Bungkur. We're going to talk about what was really the integral and baka mahirap na ngayon kasi saan ba nang pinutol na yun, saan na pumunta yung mga nawalang parte. So anyway, ang nakita ko lang ngayon,
not coming from Viva.
this is coming from Viva.
Okay.
All right, which is a copy that came from France. So I was told.
Okay,
All right. So ni-restore nila, the color grading is fantastic. So ang point lang Bali ay let's really talk about duration, not so much as missing parts because I think the integrality is there, the missing parts are there. Ang masaklap sa censorship natin nung una, and this is quite a complex discussion, na pinutol nila ang duration. And my argument nga Bali is that duration matters.
Okay.
Duration because the intentionality of the
Duration matters.
of course.
Okay.
Make it longer, baby. Don't be so,
Okay,
diba?
okay.
So ang point nga Bali is that for example, the look. This is very psychoanalytic ng Bali. If you sa pelikula ni Lino Broca, the look is the gay gaze is very important. The gaze is very important.
Yes.
Pag pinutol mo yan nga Bali, you're tampering with the intention of the filmmaker.
That's true.
Kasi doon sa length ng duration, that is where you're going to see the intention of the filmmaker for the gayness, for the desire to come out. So, pag pinutol at tinamper mo yan nga Bali, iba. And
but good for Talkback, no?
It is very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And more poems and more art coming out with your outputs and in your preoccupations. And sa huli, sa huli tayo rin lang magsusuportahan hanggang grand finals. Maraming salamat Nick at maraming salamat Ned. At marami pa tayong abangan sa mga susunod. Sana mahanap natin si Ariel at Philip ng ating Maraming salamat. Nice to end Women's Month with both of you. at least na iba, no? Parang the semiotics of it. And then, ayun, maraming dapat suportahan. At sila po yung dalawang naglabas ng mga libro na kailangan nating suportahan. We'll see you on Level Up again next Friday. Maraming salamat. Thank you.
Level up right here with Noel Ferrer. Yeah, we level up.
Mga Katipuneros, it's time to level up. Your talk variety program showcasing the best in media and other fields. As we feature the most loved personalities and the best practices of what we truly refer to as Magis. Together with multi-awarded multimedia guru Mr. Noel Ferrer, let's all level up every Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9